because it's been rough, like real rough.
Well, I came in early with all the time to sit, and I had a few episodes in mind that I was going to kind of review and flip through and like highlight some like important talking points from like early episodes where like we weren't really getting that many views, but we had some fantastic conversations.
Sweet.
And then I got here, and as it turns out, Derb is working on one of his longtime clients. And we had the opportunity to get a little bit of footage of him teaching Kyle how to set up. And
It's about time you learned.
while I was up filming, I was kind of like asking questions in between. And I was like, how'd you meet Derb? And she was like, oh, that's a question you'd have to ask my husband. So as it turns out, Jim should be here any minute. And he's agreed to come down and talk with us. His name's Jim Kane, and he's collected like an upper body suit from Derb.
I think I know exactly who Jim Kane is, and I
It's
think
blue
we're
flowy with the flowers, and
I
his
think we're
wife's,
gonna have a pretty cool conversation when he gets here.
yeah, his wife's piece complements his very nicely. You'll get to see it here in a
I'm
few
gonna flip
minutes.
through some photos, and I'm gonna see if you can confirm nor deny who this human being is. So, how is everybody? How's life going? How's Kyle?
Well, Kyle, the intern, setting up another set of headphones because I just
Uh-oh.
sprung it on him right now that Jim was joining us, like right now, because it's me.
Cause it's me.
Because it's me.
It's almost like Let It Be, but not really. Cause it's me.
Did you remember to
Cause
hit
me.
record, by the way? Kyle didn't remember to hit record. It's a good thing. We're here to back each other up,
Well,
help
you
with
know,
these things.
The best part about having friends that care about you is they remind you when you're slipping.
Well, we'll also have it saved in another place that we can, play around with.
Oh, got
Thanks.
it.
There we go.
There you go.
Now we're being recorded.
Good
Thanks,
job,
Kyle. What episode is this? Are we 118 today? Or 119? 118? 117?
One more time.
What
What
episode are we at?
116.
116. I got way ahead of us. Anyways,
It just feels like time flies on the show.
I planned on reviewing some old episodes and hitting on some important points. And as it turns out, we're gonna have an awesome guest. So Jim Kane will be joining us in a little bit. Should I jump into the little bit of footage I took a little bit ago?
Show
Should
us.
we share
some
that, or
footage,
should we
Ron, while I
chit
am
chat?
Lost in my phone.
You're just trying to find Jim, aren't you?
Yes, I am. And I'm not sure where he is in this Rolodex, but
Tim's got to be in there. Yep, that looks like them. You know who we're talking about.
we're about to have a crazy effing story.
You look really excited about this. We're gonna be in trouble.
I don't know if in trouble's the right word, but let's say I did not meet Jim through the tattoo community.
Yeah, she was saying it was through kickboxing or MMA or
Nope.
some kind of no.
Nope.
Oh, okay. All right.
These aren't long enough, Kyle.
Well,
I
You'll-
appreciate your diligence.
You'll
and
have
hard
to
work.
trade them with yours then.
That's fine.
You just have the longer cord. Sorry, Ben. See? Magic.
bam.
Boom.
There you go.
These aren't so bad.
So I want to see if Jim remembers who I am before I spoil the story.
I bet Derb will remind him.
Oh, no, Derb wasn't there.
No?
Oh, completely out of
Totally
the
random.
circle.
Okay. All right. All right.
Completely out of the circle. I'll just say I broke his property.
Oh no.
Oh, jeez. What are you doing?
And I'll just nope.
That's it.
Nope. Because we're gonna have a good
It is that story,
we're
isn't
gonna have
it?
a
It
good
is that
solid
story.
40-minute
man.
talk.
I feel like this story's even been brought up on the air before.
Probably has. It probably has.
Well, Kyle, what's new in your world?
Being an intern.
Not too much. I've been painting. I had a little escapade of trying to cash in a $500 scratcher recently.
How did it become an escapade?
Because I drove to like 6 or 7 different places to figure it out before I finally went down to a casino and got it done.
So if you get like a big winner, you can just go to a casino and they'll pay you out? Is that
Apparently,
what you're telling me?
that is what I learned.
Why couldn't you get paid out at any other place?
Because I went to like 3 or 4 different liquor stores, 2 or 3 gas stations, but like no one just had the cash for it because it was like,
It was like too big of a.
yeah, it was
deal.
too high of one. So ended up finally going down.
So was that your
to the
like
casino.
was that your like slickest way ever of rubbing it in all of our faces that you won $500?
Well, so what happened was I also just split it up with the crew here because it was from Derb originally.
Aw,
Yeah.
What a nice guy.
So
look at this guy while you're being mean to him.
yeah.
Not been me now.
Not yet. But he gave me the scratcher. He's like, yo, this is worth $20. Go ahead and take it. And I like look at it later. And right under it was like this like multiplier that he didn't scratch off. And I'm like, and you scratch away at it, and it's like 20 times. It's like, whoa, hold on. I think this is like way more than what I thought it was. So after like figuring that out, I called him and I was like, yo, I don't feel comfortable about taking all this. What do you want to do with it? So yeah, we split it up between the crew.
Well, that's awesome.
Kyle,
Aw, look
that's
at you paying it
sweet.
forward to the homies.
It would have like killed me on the inside a little bit if I just like walked away with an unknowing
Aw.
500.
How cute. He still has an inside left.
Yeah, you haven't beaten it out of him yet.
Aw.
You haven't
We'll
verbally
get
abused it out of him.
We'll get there.
So Kyle,
I'm not even that
Um,
mean to him. You
I
guys make it
forgot-
sound like I like tongue latch him every time I speak.
I forgot to ask you before we went live, were you able to log into the Instagram on that machine yet? Or only your personal one?
Let me double check here.
Cause I was just gonna send some stuff to, well, I mean, I guess I could send it and screen share it from my machine over here and keep it uncomplicated, huh?
You want to?
Let's do it like that. But we need to remember to get that machine logged in. Passwords, man.
Yeah.
Passwords and time zones. They're the dumbest things. I
Duh.
mean, they're important. They need to happen. But
Duh.
man,
We'll have to set up a password manager
know.
for us.
I don't know.
Because of farmers.
It was because of
that
farmers.
is the
So
reason
can't
why.
we just go back to sun up, midday, and night? Cause like, let's be real.
I feel like that's what
I'll
our
see you
bodies
in the
want.
morning. That's
What
pretty
when you
universal.
say morning, do you mean half past the rooster crow or when the rooster
I mean,
crows?
the sun is up, and when I wake the fuck up, I'll hit you up.
Okay, so are our roosters gonna crow at approximately
I
the
don't have
same
a
time?
fucking rooster farm.
If we don't have daylight savings time, how do we know when the day starts?
when the
you
sun
wake the
rises.
fuck up.
But you wanted to go back.
I think that's
If we
going
go
back
back-
as you can go.
If we go back, the rooster tells us when to get up. Did I take it back too far?
I mean,
I think so.
You're down with just like starting our day at
Yeah,
the
I
like
think I just-
calculated sunrise?
I think I just took it back further. That's all.
Okay, well,
Like,
that's fair.
Pre rooster,
Mm,
when we just woke up and started what we need. See, I think that's kind of what's wrong with the world today.
Tell me what's wrong
You
with
wanna
the
hear
world
the whole-
today. Yeah, let's hear what's wrong with
We
the world
tried way
today.
too hard.
I'm gonna,
Just like as a society, we've just tried way too hard to make things like what we now call comfortable. What it's done, it's made us weak. Every single one of us is now weak. Ask an average person how to take a shit in the woods, and they'll look at you cross-eyed like, what? I wouldn't even know where to start to be able to do that. It used to be natural. There's no toilet paper in the woods. You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened to mud huts? What's wrong with the mud hut? You built one hut, they handed that thing down for generations. The whole family lived in that thing. But no. Now we have to switch where we live every 3 to 5 years.
Can I be honest? You had me up until you said learning how to take a shit in the woods.
That's where it all starts. See, is getting back to primal was my whole point.
I don't know if I want to be that primal.
I think there's
Why?
a reason that
Because we've been made soft.
sanitation exists.
I love
I work
soft.
in the industry, bud. You don't have to tell me. I'm just saying
I like fuzzy blankets.
because you've been trained to.
And I just think
And
I
why
like
can't-
to be comfortable.
Why can't we have a fuzzy blanket in our wood hut?
Mm,
Do you see what I'm saying? Like these things are possible.
okay.
no,
but
we
hold
build all
on,
this
can-
extra
can we do,
infrastructure
like,
and all
a
this extra-
composting toilet instead of just a hole in
You
the
can
woods.
do whatever you want,
that
Fawn.
How about an outhouse?
I just-
Whatever you want, Kyle.
I'm down with the outhouse too.
Whatever
It's like
you
the
want.
Original composting toilet.
See what I'm saying? Then you just spread that on the garden. So that's
Fair.
really the best thing for it. Mix in some
Fair.
dirt. Let's sit a little while. Turn. But here, like, okay, so we just tried too hard. If we just went back to worrying about food, water, shelter, and the people you love, Fuck the rest of this shit. You can have your car, you can have your business, you can have your house, you can have your fuck all that.
See, now that's a good message.
Just revert. We don't need all that. Why? Why did we make it to the point where we feel we need 2.5 cars, 3 houses, a $400,000 income to be sad?
I mean,
I can be sad and broke. Let's just go not work so hard.
that's fair, but like, I don't know. Some of us are more comfortable being minimalists than others. Like, I make jokes about liking my fuzzy blankets and things like that, but like, when it comes down to it, like, I don't know, I could be pretty minimalist. I lived in a 19.5 foot camper in my sister's backyard for a year and a half.
Dig it. But like, there were still moments of comfort in that.
Yeah,
You
I
were
did
still able to
shower
test stuff.
inside like a normal person
You were
with
still
like
able
the
to test stuff.
luxurious bubble bath and hot tub and
You made a bed. You had a fuzzy blanket.
had my DOG.
I mean, when I camp, you think I'm not comfortable? Sleeping on a cloud. That's my favorite thing to do. So like there's ways to find the creature comforts without needing the $400,000 condo.
That's fair.
That's my only
But
point.
how about like $100,000 condo? Because that's
No.
like a normal, moderate, regular
No,
home.
no. How about a lean-to on the ocean
A lean-to on the ocean.
with 2 poles and a roof? That's what you get. That's what you need.
I need sunblock. I have a lot of money invested in my tattoos.
Did
First
you-
of all,
Did you hear 2 poles in a roof? I mean, what do you need?
The sun
sunblock
is
for?
blocked. Bod.
I'm a little Caucasian, guys. I
I
don't know
hear
if
you.
you've noticed. Like,
Fair
I look like I
skin
look.
maiden.
I look like I'm glowing all the time. You can't put me in front of black, but for some reason we do this every week in front of, and sometimes I even wear black. So then it's even more of a,
The black on black.
yeah. What if we
Wow.
had real lighting, like real spotlights on us? I would just be a beacon.
I
It's
know
a
where they
weird
are.
thing
We
that
can set 'em
happens.
up.
But there's some behind me.
I have the authorization to use said equipment.
We all do.
I'm just saying, like we can make that.
Thanks, Hell
happen.
City / Derb.
/ Derb. Hell City Tattoo Festival. So I'm like, we could do some little can light action, catch some reds, some purples, warm me up a little bit.
Put a green on me, make me look ill.
Tonight's
Yeah, we'll put a
talking
nice
about
gradient
why
in the
fun
background or
looks
something.
sick.
Zombie fun.
Well, speaking of Derb, should we hop into that footage?
You think
Look
we
at
should?
Kyle segueing smooth as fucking shit. I'm proud of you, Bobby.
I saw the opportunity. and picked
Speaking
it up.
of,
Here we go.
well, what Kyle was trying to say was that we got some sweet footage of Derb Klein tattooing an old term client today. Old term, long term, old time, all words.
Derb asking for hydration.
I need water, not that shitty faucet water, the good water, Kyle.
That actually is how the conversation went because
Yeah.
Derb just recently had our water tested. You saw the group message.
You act like I didn't know.
You saw the group
I
message.
did.
You know that's how the conversation went.
I do.
So we are switching from filtered water back to bottled
Bottled.
water at Red Tree because there's fewer parts per million. It was unsatisfactory. There were too many parts per million.
Too many millions of parts.
So here's Derb actually giving Kyle a lesson on how to set up, what to do, what not to do.
See this? Don't touch it. You know what you should touch? Nothing.
That's
Pretty-
exactly how it went.
It's pretty
Mhm.
much the best advice you can ever get. Yeah.
Kyle had it like partially set up and Derb tore it all down.
Yeah.
Like at first he was like polite about it. And he was like, and actually this, and he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna tear this all down because I like this other way better.
Well, I
Kyle
also
was
like
like-
didn't know what, how he likes everything. So I got it to that point and I was like, well, I feel like it'd be wasteful if I kept going because clearly like something will be wrong.
You know, Kyle, sometimes they say the smartest thing is knowing when to stop.
And that's why I stopped when I did.
Catching your chips when you still got a couple.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about that lately.
Look at these lines. I don't know if you guys ever pay attention to Derb's tattoo work. You definitely should, but his line work is always been so impressive to me.
Oh, my fat neck. I wasn't
Minute.
ready for that.
It's only for a
You look
moment.
beautiful.
I never expect to be like more than waist up scene. Yes, those are sweatpants.
It's Thursday.
It's comfy Thursday. It was let's just say slow at work today. And I was like, hey y'all, how about I just not do that then?
You guys want to know about the little Hell City Fest here?
Oh,
going
this
on
little
in
thing we do.
Columbus?
Coming up soon.
That thing we do. And you have to catch Columbus this year because that's the only Hell City we're doing this year.
Here we go.
Show us your tattoos. Baller. That's amazing. Kyle, edit my voice out of the background, please.
That's way more complex than you think it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Get better at your job.
Okay.
That sounds like gold.
Yeah, that was tattoo gold right there. If anybody was listening. Derb's like I just said a few minutes ago, his line work is always impressive.
Mhm.
It's very consistent, very smooth. I don't think I know anybody that like single pass lines as well that Derb does.
That's why I had him do my knuckles. I was like, clean, one pass, please. And they still look fantastic.
Mm-hmm. When I do the palms of my hands, I wouldn't Derb to do it. I know he doesn't do a lot of palms, but
Jay Doggy and I have talked about doing a palm tattoo on me. I just haven't had the time to be dedicated to that project yet.
you know the little seedling and Wally?
Yes.
That's what I want in one of my palms. I
Oh.
haven't decided for sure what I want in the other, but maybe some sort of crystal form or like maybe an icosahedron. It would be like water and life. Kind of makes sense.
Oh.
You
Okay.
approve that idea?
That he used three things up. Shameless plug.
It's funny because I even asked him, like, you want to plug anything that you're working with? And he's like, I was like, that's pretty new. He's like, okay. And here you go. It's actually like as organic as the plugs could possibly
yeah, I
get.
didn't
Like,
think it was bad.
what do we have around here that you need to tell people about? Because we've had the true tray covers for a while, but now we've got the two smaller sizes of like cover and then the ink caps are different sizes within, so.
So Fawn, I think that I want to purchase, if you have anything available that I might be able to purchase, a rotary from you, and I'm gonna get some fake skin and some black and
Some
and,
black
and just
play.
I
You ready to start playing?
think so.
You want some lessons?
Yeah, well, I was my lessons, but I was gonna start with like
I got you.
you
I
know,
got you. Yeah. I mean, I could share equipment with you.
I would
Who
prefer
wants to sign up for some snail tatties?
I would prefer if I could purchase something that you might have a double of.
I have multiples of
I know.
multiples.
And
We,
I know
we
back
also
two is
have
one and one
machines
is
here
none.
for sale.
I hear you, Kyle. I hear you, Kyle. And then yeah.
So you're telling me you're gonna do the thing that we told everybody not to do last week?
What do you mean?
Go get your own tattoo equipment and tattoo yourself. You're not gonna tattoo yourself. You're
I'm
gonna
not gonna
tattoo
touch it
fake skin.
myself. I'm
Just
gonna
fake
get
skin.
fake skin.
We carry that here too now.
That's why I was gonna get it, because it's
Plug
here.
in, plug in, and plug
Yeah.
in.
Because
TrueTattooSupply.com.
Everything you need to become a scratcher today.
No, you gotta be like, gotta have your certs. Certs. You gotta- you
yeah,
gotta be
no,
No,
qualified.
you do have.
So
you have
I've been bloodborne pathogen certified. I know it's not hard to do. I've been in the in around the for long enough that I'm not new. So like I don't think there's gonna be a huge learning curve as far as process is concerned in my
Well,
mind.
you also did the tattoo removal stuff, and
I
that's
try not
even
to
a
bring
little
that up.
bit more
I just don't-
technical
I just don't talk
than.
about it.
I mean, we can. It's honest. Like
It is, but I feel like that was not
not your
shining,
not
a
your lane.
shining moment
Not your
for,
lane.
for anyone involved in that project. It was not something we wanted to do. So yeah.
Hello, hello. We kind of somewhat introduced you a little bit.
What's up, buddy?
If you, oh, thank you. This is like you know me.
Oh,
If you want to take a minute and get acclimated, or if you want to have a seat, we're ready to go.
I
So,
move in, I take over half the
Just a
table.
few minutes ago, we finished showing off what Derb's working on upstairs.
Oh,
So
maybe.
yeah, we just showed off her work so far, and we were like shamelessly plugging the supply company at the moment.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Pretty shameless.
I'm Jim.
Ben,
Good to see you.
we've actually met once
Yeah,
before.
we have a couple times.
Yeah, yeah. Awkwardly in your driveway once.
Was it?
Do you remember that?
No.
Didn't you get a bunch of furniture delivered into your
Oh my
garage?
God, yes. Yeah, we smoked and then you took, yeah, I didn't recognize you at all. That's funny as hell.
So that was a patch job for me. It was an in-betweener.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out my life. And you caught me on my last day.
Did I really?
That was literally my last
Dude,
day
that
at
was such a
IKEA.
huge order.
It's not so you can hear yourself. That was the worst day I've ever had professionally. And to walk into a friendly environment and face, you saved my day. Like it was one of those like, oh my God, if I don't like fucking have a minute to just take a breath and smoke a joint, and I roll in and he's like, hey, so you want to just, and I'm like,
You want to smoke and unload or do you want to unload?
so my last day working for IKEA delivery, they gave me an entire semi truck, but well, not a full semi, it's only 23 feet, not the 28 foot that is a semi truck packed to the ceiling to deliver by myself. And he was one of the last 3 stops, I want to say.
That's about right.
And you had a whole kitchen. And I got there and I
So he was 80% of your heavy truckload.
no, no, not at all. But by the time I got there, I was mentally and physically exhausted.
I felt horrible for you.
I was done.
Even if I didn't know you, I'd offered you a call.
Oh yeah, it was perfect.
us.
It was perfect. It was one of those moments where I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna make it through this. And you were like, hey bro, it's doobie break time. And I was like, my people, thank you. And then we were like, oh yeah, and then oh yeah, same friends, same family. And it really It made my goddamn night.
It made mine too, because I've been waiting for that furniture for months and to have you deliver it and be able to smoke with you and finally get it in the garage. I was stoked.
It was 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Like it was late. And I still had 2 stops after that I made and had to go drop the truck off and stuff. And I called my boss on the way home and I was like, so yeah, about working here. It's not something I want to do.
Not for me.
It's not my gig. And it took everything I had not to leave the truck.
We just figured out what all that background noise was.
The
You're
exhaust system?
welcome. Yeah,
Oh, I knew. I just wasn't.
forgot.
Yeah, Kyle, fix the problems.
I don't know. I don't think the mics are picking that one up.
Jeez. Interns.
There we go. Sounds much better.
But yeah.
Sorry, guys.
so
Sorry,
I'm
everybody
really glad we
listening.
get to run into each other again
I know.
randomly. At a non-playing point. So I can thank you for making
I
my
didn't recognize you at all with your
goddamn
hat on and everything.
Well, again, after I was probably on my 11th hour that day.
Not a good day.
Middle of the summer. I had sweat through every article of clothing that I had on twice.
I couldn't have done your job.
And I was sad, like just sad when I got there. Yeah, it was what the day needed. I thank you for being that person.
Happy to be that person.
It just goes to show you never know when you can run into tattoo family and not even know it. And that's what we talk about on the show a lot, is the power of the connection of heavily tattooed people or even moderately tattooed people. You've got this instant commonality, you've got this instant bond, you've got this, even if you don't necessarily think their work is your favorite or anything along these lines, you've got this, we've sat through the same trauma, we've sat through the same time frame. I know what that felt like to go through, and it's this
All
weird,
three of
like,
us have complete back pieces and all three of us have totally different looking back pieces. But I bet our experiences and the stories that we can tell are equally as
Very-
brutal, equally as changing, equally
Very
as
similar.
like, oh man, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but here we go.
Yeah.
Like we all had those moments, one session or another. And then there are easy sessions and then there are sessions where it's like, oh, I didn't plan on being in the kidney all day.
you know what I wasn't ready for? Not that.
Yeah, I remember when Durbin finished my back and I couldn't have been happier, but I had put so much time and money into it that I couldn't see it.
Yep.
And with me being a white collar suit all the time, a lot of my clients don't see my ink. So when I decided to go down and get sleeves, when he put the outline on me and I saw it, I was like, man, this is a big step. But literally, I mean, the day that he went to put the outline and put ink to skin, needle to skin, I turned pale. I got pasty white.
Yeah.
Tony ran over to me and thought I was going to pass out and gave me a drink of water. And he's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm just realizing that, all that time, and 50 hours in my back and, that's hideable, in my business and professional.
Yep.
This is going to be out there because I went full sleeve on both sides, go big or go home. And I couldn't be happier with the decision.
Love it.
But that turn in the corner, it was a rough 10 or 15 minutes.
I
Where I
bet.
finally decided I was jumping in the deep end.
I remember because I had sleeves for a while and Sam wore dress shirts every day. I got to the point where I was like, when I tattooed my hand, I tattooed a giant bulldog on the front of it. I didn't start small. And I remember sitting there and he put the stencil on and I had that same well,
I'm doing this.
I guess now I can only work at places that are like-minded.
Yeah.
And that's what it turned into. Thank you, Kyle. I don't know what you just changed, but thank you. It made it to where I was like, well, I'll never have a boring job.
Yeah.
I will be able to
I will.
at least open with like-minded people, if you will.
No hand tattoo.
Right? Right. So what is the day job? If you're allowed to talk.
No, I run benefits for Ohio's pension system. So
Amazing.
public employees, retired teachers, police and fire.
Awesome.
Yep.
Nope. Too many numbers. Couldn't do it.
I'm not a numbers guy either. It's really just gaps in Medicare and you help people fill up those gaps. So, when they deal with something like elder care or cancer, heart and stroke, that they're prepared for it and it doesn't, put them into Medicaid or healthcare welfare.
Amazing.
Keeps us busy.
Actually helpful. That's it's few and far between jobs that have that kind of impact. So it's cool to hear.
But I had to dress like this every day.
It could be worse.
It could be
It
worse.
could be lots worse. I miss getting dressed up sometimes. Yeah, it felt. You
You
felt
always want what you
accomplished.
don't have.
Yeah,
I miss getting dressed down sometimes.
I'm
If my wife didn't come straight from work and I didn't come straight from work to sit here and support her, I'd have been home changing clothes and look more like you guys too.
Right. You're absolutely correct too, because you wear a tie every day. You're like, first thing you do is take it off.
Absolutely.
You get in the car and you nope.
There's more of us that want to get dressed down than people that want to put on a tie or want to put on a button down or go to the dry cleaners.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just missed that first morning, like I am put together.
I don't know. When I worked retail, so I worked at Victoria's Secret. That was probably like my most, like I had to dress up the most, all black. But there's a certain, I don't know, there is something about like, I don't know, putting on my like professional dress shoes and that
Right.
click as I walk down the hall and like, I've got my paperwork that I got to do this, and this with, and like I've got places to go and I've got people that are answering to me
Right.
and like,
See, I had a couple of jobs that were, button ups only, but the most fun was managing the dry cleaner because I didn't have a uniform. It was wear
Other
nice-
people's clothes when they didn't pick them up.
Yes, absolutely. I was just dressed nice. You know what I mean? It was a fine dry cleaner.
Yeah.
Like 650 is where they started their shirts at. Like it was, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So they didn't want you in there looking like a bum. And if you didn't want to pick out your own clothes, they sent you to Brook Brothers for uniforms. So it wasn't like polos, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was nice, but at the same time, it was like that sense of accomplishment in the morning is sometimes lost when I throw on sweatpants.
it's funny. We see each other like as bums all the time, but like, I know I clean up nice. You clean up nice, but do I feel like it? Nah.
I just miss having the reason,
I still have the closet full of blazers. I still have black and gray pants.
I do
It's
too.
fine.
I'm just 20 pounds fucking heavier now.
We're all a little short for our weight.
Yeah, we're all.
I like that.
Well, that's how
I
you
like
say
that.
it to the retirees. Yeah, I do a lot of teachers that are a little short for their weight, and
That's
you
good.
you got to figure out a way to put that politely, and that's
That's-
usually the best. way.
That is gold.
Nice.
That is gold. I often in my day job have to be a wordsmith, and that will probably get put in the journal.
Absolutely. I use it regular.
Nice.
Men that are balding are just a little taller than their hair.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. I gotta
All
remember
right.
these.
All right.
It's like pure
I'm
gold.
gonna use that tomorrow. That's
So what do you guys cover with Mamie and what Derb's doing?
really just started looking at
Just got a pan across her arm that he's working on, zoomed in close on the colors. She showed off her back for us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was just like a couple minute snippet, not
It-
too much. But
It's neat to see our backs next to each other because they're Derb and his style is so unique and his colors are so unique and his imagery is, you can tell Derb's work, no matter who you're looking at, exactly, even if it was.
we're talking about how precise his line work is
Yeah.
too, and
Even
that's a
if it was
dead giveaway
10
if
or
you know
15
his
years-
work.
10 or 15 years ago, before I even met him. And, his work still, holds strong. And when you look at our back pieces together, they were featured in Ink Master European Tattoo Magazine. And they did feature on Derb and they took my wife and my pictures and they had us kind of holding each other, but it was amazing because when you took the two pieces together, they were these just large Japanese, both water backgrounds. I mean,
love it.
she could never get away with being anybody else, nor could I.
Love
Only
it.
because, our bodies match. It's
Yeah.
a puzzle or a set.
Nice. That's really cool. Were they intentionally designed that way, or is it just because of how the art generally always flows and looks?
My wife and I are really, really close, and she loves. She wanted the matching tattoos, but when she decided to pull the trigger on doing a full back piece, she used mine as a reference, but went more with where I went with koi and dragon. She went more with koi and the lotus flower
Right,
and the dragon
right.
flies. So they complement each other, but they're not so
They're not
close
designed
to, yeah.
on each other.
Yeah.
That makes sense. No, that's really, really, really cool. That happened at Hell City when we did one of the art fusions. The artists all worked on separate panels next to each other, and then they rotate the different easels, right? And by the end of it, we take them all down and we laid them on the table, and it was like one cohesive image.
Really?
And it wasn't planned, it wasn't intentional. And
They
it
just
was
all
one of
fit.
it was just one of those like happened to all work together. And I was really mad that somebody didn't buy all the pieces together.
Because
You know
they
what I
fit that
mean?
well?
Yeah, they just fit that well together. It was literally remarkable. And it was like, I wonder if broad spectrum, they all knew they were doing it without knowing they were doing it. Just as like artists rotating between the same pieces. I wonder if they all subconsciously knew that that's just hard to,
Like subconsciously, do you know that you have a little resemblance to Bert Kreischer?
oh, no. I know that. And I hear it constantly.
I've never thought about that until I just looked at you this
Oh
close
my
and I'm
God.
like, and your voice. And I'm like, yeah, you could.
I've heard it a couple of times. He's a little more round than me, though. No, I'm just kidding. I probably got to be.
He just takes his
that's
shirt off
right.
more than you do.
That's very true. I had not heard of this person until he was super popular, and somebody hit me with that at my last job, and I was just like, I don't know who that is, and they're like, dude, you need to go on like an adventure and sit and watch a couple hours of his stuff.
He's
He,
hilarious.
he really is.
He's-
I love all of his.
He's good.
The Machine is
The
by
Machine
far
is
away
good.
my favorite.
I actually watched something just the other day that he had up about somebody, a young lady challenged him at the bar to a drinking contest. And he's like, you don't want to like, no, you don't, they call me the Machine for a reason. And he was like, back in those days, I didn't even count Fireball as shots. Like it wasn't even alcohol. He's like, so I lined up 9 shots of Fireball, knocked them all back, and then looked at her and told her to catch up. And he said, as they were carrying her to the car,
Oh
it was
my
a pretty
God.
good story. It's pretty good. There's a lot more to it. I don't want to ruin his bit. Feel free to go watch it.
Don't
But
ruin the punchline.
I didn't.
Don't ruin it.
I let him tell his own joke.
Yeah,
That's a pro move, right
I'm
there.
encouraging your actions. I'm agreeing. It's okay.
Yeah, I think he's hilarious. Have you seen The Cabin?
Yes,
Yeah, it's a good one.
a couple episodes of it. I know there's several. I've seen a couple of them.
He just seems like one of those guys that like if we hung out, we'd just smoke weed. It'd be just be like hanging out with any other, you know what I mean? Like
Except you would just look like each other.
he would just fit right into the group, you know. There'd be no assimilation necessary.
So you guys typically bring either artists in, or do you guys bring collectors in, or is
Yes.
it pretty an eclectic?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. We are collector based first, but we do bring a lot of artists on. We bring a lot of collectors on, but mainly stick to tattoo culture. We are here to talk about the things that we as collectors get into, and
So actually, the way the
Actually.
asking you to join us came about, I asked Mamie how you and Derb met, and she was like, "Oh, you'll have to ask Jim."
Well, Derb and I go back a lot further than, than he and Mamie. So it's actually a really unique story. I was crippled as a kid. I grew up in Shriners Crippled Children's Hospital, and I always wanted a tattoo or an earring. This was back in the 80s. I'm in my mid 50s. And, my dad always said, back then it was a much different world. But
Oh,
if
yeah.
I get a tattoo, I'm cutting you out of the will. Well, it took me about 25 years, but eventually I started making more than my dad and I didn't care anymore. So I went and got my traguses pierced and my nipples pierced. And then I went and got my first tattoo by Dollar Bill up at Sunset Tattoo in LA. I was on Wheel of Fortune in 1995.
wow.
And as a way to memorialize the trip, I went to Sunset Tattoo, and Dollar Bill is a fairly, famous old kind of artist back then. And I wanted him, but I couldn't. So it was this artist by the name of Corey Flatmo. And Corey is now a huge artist with a huge, following down in Cincinnati area. But Corey was available and he gave me a little Celtic knot on my back. Well, I couldn't see it. I loved it. And it memorialized the whole, Wheel of Fortune, but I wanted to get a back piece. And weird story, but I was actually, I had gone from a little crippled kid to finding a gym and finding supplements that helped me get a lot bigger than genetically I was because of
Nice.
my issues. So I eventually got very, very big and I competed in the
All
Mr. Ohio, the Kentucky,
Okay.
actually did pretty well. And I got so good that I actually had to get out of the sport. So you can't compete in bodybuilding with tattoos. So what I did was
Really?
yeah, you can't because you can't see definition, shadows, muscle striations. You can't see anything if you've got a back.
I didn't know that.
So in order for me to get out of the sport, I forced because I got a little OCD, if you can't tell.
You can't just bronze it away. You can't like cover it and bronze it.
No.
Just too much.
Yeah, you would think you can, but if you've seen somebody that's heavily tattooed, try to cover it with makeup, even the Sephora stuff, even the stuff that Kat Von D
Mhm.
promotes, it still doesn't cover up dark tattoos if you've got light skin. And I'm about
Right.
pasty Irish, Scottish. It's like, oh. So you try to put that on me and it just looks horrible anyway. So yeah, so I actually got my back piece to get myself out of the sport, get myself, back into a family. It was affecting my marriage. So tattoos actually saved my life from continuing down that path. I ended up being diabetic. I ended up getting ulcerative colitis because of the drug use.
Jeez.
It catches up to you. But when you look back at somebody that graduated high school at 90 pounds and 4'10", would I rather have ulcerative
Right.
colitis and diabetes and have lived the life I did and been in
Yes.
magazines and now tattoo magazines
Yes.
or would I be the kid that they pushed in the corner and everybody ignored back in the 80s?
Right.
So yeah, so tattooing actually saved my life from a cultural, from a getting out there. It just made me bigger than who I was because I was such a small person,
Right.
growing up. And so I tried to get in with Corey Flatmo. He gave me my first tattoo. I found out he was out of Cincinnati. I had the money to put a big piece together. And Corey had a huge long waiting list and he was in Cincinnati. Every time I had to go see him, it was a,
Right.
hour and a half, 2-hour drive.
Right.
Well, I heard about Derb and I saw his work and I even liked it better than Corey's. And I said, based on the color, the imagery, this is the guy that I want to do my work. So I met Derb and he had a 6-month wait even to really get a
Jeez.
consult. And this was 11, 12, 13, 14 years ago. 97? No. I don't know. 2007 probably
Right.
was.
Right.
So anyway, I finally got in for a consult and told him that I wanted a back piece. And he was really excited to do a big piece. And I said, listen, I just want the story of my childhood. And when I was a kid in Shriners Crippled Children's Hospital, I had a nurse. Her name was Young Sook. And she used to tell me that I was her little koi. And I didn't understand it because I was like,
Right.
6, 7 years old. But I finally asked her, why do you call me a koi? She goes, well, where I come from, she was, Asian. Where I come from, a koi that's strong enough to swim up a waterfall becomes a dragon. And she said, someday you're going to walk and you're going to become a dragon. So when I decided to get my back piece,
That's really
it's actually an image of a koi fish swimming up a waterfall, evolving into a dragon.
Yeah, I've actually got it right here. I've been looking for the picture
Oh,
of you and
nice.
Mamie together, but this happens to be right here. Let me screen share
Oh,
this
that's
for
brilliant
us.
if you can.
You guys can see exactly what we're talking about. Sorry, I'm slow at this.
No, you're not.
Well, it's still a lot faster than me getting undressed.
Kyle,
What?
I'm disabled.
Ah,
Yeah,
What are you
screen
doing?
share.
You're faster
hold
at it
on.
than me.
I spent all this time looking for
Okay.
a totally different photo, but this one will be great to share anyways. So,
Go for it.
all right, screen share. Here we go.
I've seen this many times.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you look at that koi fish on the middle right, and if you go counterclockwise, it's the koi fish. And why we did it counterclockwise really has no significance. It's just the way that everything fell together. But if you kind of go counterclockwise, it goes from koi fish up the waterfall into the kind of evolving dragon, into the dragon. And if you notice that little Celtic knot on what is my right shoulder, that's what I got from Dollar Bill, not back in 1997 when I was in LA at Sunset Tattoo. So Derb actually incorporated that in and he recolored it so it was more his colors. But it's the only thing that doesn't belong, but it's kind of like,
It's part of your
Five
story.
things
Just
are-
saying.
But it does belong.
it does. It's part of. And then what's really unique is you wouldn't notice this now, but believe it or not, I don't know why, but I didn't commit to a full back piece that went down to my butt.
Mm.
And I only committed to where the bottom of the koi fish is. So my back was actually 3/4 of a back piece for about a year. And then I realized how ridiculous it looked. And oh, it looked so stupid. So we had decided to put those chrysanthemums under there
Nice.
and add some more water, and that goes down to my butt. And you know, Mamie's pretty much has the same thing, but hers are lotuses.
Nice.
And he's since finished my sleeves all the way down. But yeah, that certainly tells the story of where I was. So thanks for letting me dominate the entire segment there.
That's why
Oh,
you're here.
Yeah, no,
Please.
I actually have more
please,
questions about your
keep
work.
talking.
Yeah. We can keep doing
it's,
this.
it's often we have people on, we're like, and then, and what, and you're, yes, tattoos. Yes. So no, it's nice.
Yeah,
it's
they
nice.
really have saved my life. The other thing is I, grew up in a wheelchair.
Right.
So, I mean, you're not really the town troublemaker or party animal when you're in the, in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
And I was kind of the clean cut kid. And I know these people are going to look at me funny, but back in the late 70s and early 80s, I mean, it was mullet and perm time and you went and got even guys got their perms and
Funny how that's coming back around.
Is it really?
Oh, mullets and perms.
I have
are
seen the
thing
mullets. I don't know
right
about
now.
the perms, but
Yep.
yeah. I started getting perms in, I think 1977. I got married in a perm in 93, and then I finally quit wearing them.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. Oh, well, look at this hair. I've got like no hair now, but I mean, it was like straw straight hair, no body, pasty white skin.
and they probably loved perming it up. It probably held really well.
It did. I was beautiful.
I love it. I love it. It's funny because like you can even my family album, you go back, Dad had an afro when
Yeah.
because everybody tried it at
70s.
least once. It's a
Yes.
good time. And that's going to be the businessmen of the 2000s. You remember there for 10 years, everybody had the same haircut, or 5 years, everybody had the same like comb over,
Oh, yeah.
basic like,
Oh, I did.
and it was just like,
Absolutely.
can we branch out a little bit, guys? Please, somebody.
So what
Thanks.
was unique about when Derb did as you can see, my upper body, my wife's upper body, they are 100% Derb.
Nice.
And for a long time, I really didn't have interest in anybody else doing it. I wanted a big, almost Japanese, but American flair, like panthers with daggers through them. And I still wanted a sugar skull, and I still wanted an American just skull on my shoulder. All these different images. But I wanted an entire bodysuit of, oh, there's my wife getting her back done. But I wanted an entire bodysuit of just Derb's work.
Right.
But then I realized that there were so many other people that I really enjoyed their work that I wanted on me. So my upper body is still all Derb from ass up is
Nice.
all Derb. Even my wife's lips are on my butt that he did.
Love it.
And then everything on my lower body are all the other artists that local artists and people
Super
that
rad.
drive around that have either been guest spots at Red Tree or Marty Holcomb and Cam and just anybody.
Nice.
Yeah,
I love it.
anybody love their work.
I went to the same guy for 10 years and then he retired.
Same thing.
And I was like, oh, I guess I'll
Hey, if I knew
figure
artists.
something else. He was on actually a couple weeks ago and I still give him shit for it. I'm like, you abandoned me is what you did.
Did he actually retire or just get old and retire or get out of the
No,
business?
he got out of the business for 6 years, 7 years. Just pursued other things and now he's back tattooing. So I bust his chops a little bit for it. Just left me hanging. Got 2 out of the 3 of my limbs done and just went on
Yeah,
about
that's
your
the
day.
worst when you start a big piece and you're like, I want this to match and I'm not going to get it to match.
I was in a pretty lucky situation that he was the shop owner. So I just started going to the people that were heavily influenced by his work. Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
super
I
rad.
just am scrolling through Derb's work as you guys are talking.
Yeah.
So
I get to look at that all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
it's been years ago since the first time you and I met, but it was brief and I was just a little tatter tot then. But one of the things yeah, I was a tatter tot
I've
one
never heard
time.
that.
Yeah, I was a
Aw.
little tatter tot.
I don't think that was ever true, but okay.
I was. Anyways. Easy Rider. Easy Rider shows.
And right from there, it went to-
Competitions.
and then it went to canoeing and it went to cabrewing and kayaking and all that. Yeah. Yeah, we started off with the little local shows. My wife was pretty conservative when we met, and she's also a school teacher, another level of conservatism. And but she knew she wanted to get inked, and I wanted her to start competing because even though our work was small, it was Durb's work, and we can't compete at Hell City.
Right.
So I mean, the biggest show in the country, or in my opinion, whether it's Arizona, whether it's Columbus, we haven't been able to compete and actually, show Durb's work because he can't win his own show.
Well, see, that's key. Say that again for those that didn't hear him. So the respectful thing to do is when the host of the show is there is to not show their work, because then it looks like you have a bias in the show.
Absolutely.
So that's
So,
an amazing thing as a collector to understand, because a lot of people wouldn't get that.
Yeah, it adds a level of
Convolutedness.
not convolutedness, but it like complicates the competitions a little bit if your artist happens to be the judge or your artist happens to be
owner
putting
of
the show
the
on.
show. Absolutely.
So it's one of those like, I
I've
can
seen-
see why you competed every Easy Rider I was ever at. I feel like you two just took every single award, and we were like,
other than all over male or all over female, because we still didn't have that, our
but at the
body
same time,
size.
seeing you guys up there and seeing your collections and seeing how much fun you had showing them off, it was like, I want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
I should, like, I want my work up there, but like, I want to be up there.
Yeah,
And
it was fun. And it is a little bit of voyeurism because some of the tattoos are on her ass, or,
Right.
maybe has, different part of her body tattooed. And it was exciting. And I'll tell you, what's really funny is it's funny you bring it up, because now it's been 13, 14 years later.
that was
10
way back when I first started tattooing.
And it's been
super
11,
early.
11 or 12 for Mamie since she got her first tattoo by Durb.
Wow.
And when we go up in the new studio, if you guys go back by the copier, all of those awards, because again, a lot of people that are collectors, this is another thing that's kind of funny, but when I first got my first tattoo trophy, and it was about my back, and I had spent $8,000 for, Durb to do my back, and it looked amazing, I wanted that damn trophy. And then everybody's like, hey, you got to give that to Durb.
Yeah,
And I'm
that's
like,
not true.
I'm new in the community. I'm like,
Yeah,
what do you mean
yeah.
it's not mine? I'm like, fuck you, this is mine. And they're like, no, dude, you got to give that to Durb.
So that
And then
is
it
called-
dawned on me that I'm just lucky enough to carry his art. I'm not,
You have.
I don't own that art. Yeah, I
You
walk
have the
around with it.
trophy.
But yeah. So anyway, yeah, I got the trophy. So yeah, I started giving all my trophies and all my plaques to Durb. And if you go upstairs, there's no less than 20, maybe
Nice.
30 between me and Mamie together. Some
Nice.
are those little 8x10,
Mhm.
easy riders, and others are, from Detroit show and Cleveland shows and Canada. And we've been all over Chicago. Yeah.
So that's called the don't be a dick rule.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Um,
generally
It's
what.
literally called the don't be a
Yeah,
dick.
take a picture of it and then frame that picture in your
Right.
office, but
Well-
the artist gets the award.
That's why sometimes at other shows you get a medallion and a plaque, a
Mhm.
trophy and a plaque.
Oh, that
So
makes sense.
you
A lot of
can-
times, like the like overall male and female, those awards are for the collector, but that's kind of the exception. And I think that's why
Because
that
it's
one's
not
always
one
so
artist.
coveted, because
Yeah.
that's the one where like that's what we put the hours in for, and that's what we had all the time and research, and
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah,
really the
I
only
I
like
lost
recognition for the
best
collector.
overall to a guy with like 3 tattoos, and it made me sad on my inside jokes.
Wait,
Now his 3 tattoos were exquisite. No,
are we talking
no
about
question.
the Cincinnati show?
yeah,
He had a Nick Baxter back piece.
no.
Not him. That's
No,
not
he
the
got
guy you're
third.
talking about. He got third. Who took first?
The guy with like 3 fucking
I
tattoos.
don't.
That's why I was
forget.
like,
It didn't make an impression. I'm sorry.
well, the thing was, is it the overall thinking made sense. More wasn't the point of best overall collection. Highest quality of tattoo overall.
Yeah.
Was
Mhm.
the underlying goal. I don't know how to say that.
The deciding
The
factor.
deciding factor. Thank you. So just because you had more didn't make him better. So if he had 3 really nice tattoos,
They'd have to be really fucking nice, because I'll tell you, every show in the last 14 years that I've attended and lost, best of,
Right.
best. It's because somebody had more. They weren't better than mine because my body was primarily derb.
Right.
And it was just on quantity. They had their legs done at the time. I didn't. And it was
Right.
best overall because of time invested overall. But there were some shit tattoos on those people that beat me.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks.
Well, it sucks for Derb. I don't get any of the trophies.
You carry the trophy daily, sir. Yeah, no, I understand that. We should start doing a picture booth at the end of the trophy run.
There kind of is an unofficial one, but we could,
We should
make
make
an
it
official one.
official.
Like I like to have a tattoo collecting backdrop.
And then be
Yeah.
like, that's your fucking trophy. Here's your picture. You can
Ooh.
order it online for $47.99. It'll come in a high gloss frame for you.
Oh, we can make another
Archival
copy of
even.
this trick.
Huh?
I just said archival
All
even.
right. I'll say the raw data. Yeah, we could figure something out like that.
How many tattoo competitions do you think you've been in?
I don't know. I would say 30 or 40
Okay.
as far as different shows
That's
around.
probably still more than I have.
Yeah, absolutely. Moon Knight.
And honestly, because of Derb's travel to Europe, his time in Vegas, when we go to a show, it's typically to either get tattooed by him because he knows us. We got big pieces that he can show
Mhm.
off. He knows we sit well, and we enjoy we enjoy the travel. But I lost my train of thought.
Oh, you were just telling us what makes you an awesome collector. You
Yeah.
travel,
Honestly,
you
said-
enjoy
said
the
you're
company.
here in
Yeah.
Las Vegas and traveling around. to
Yeah.
get tattooed.
So I mean, I haven't been to as many shows now because even though he's still attending them, he has so many other obligations, and he and I have
Right.
been so tight personally. If I can't hang out with him for the weekend, I'm not going to spend like $1,000 on a hotel in hand. I mean, I'm going
Right.
to do it when we can hang out.
Hi, J Doggy. Love
What
you,
up?
Bubby.
You gonna come on, say hey?
Come say hey.
Oh, give me just a moment.
You want to sit in here? I'll check on my wife.
Tradesies.
I have my client over here, so I can not be too long.
I'm gonna
Hurt.
check on me. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no, at least come back. Like, don't leave.
Yeah, no, I'm not here forever.
How's J
Jordan.
Doggy?
What up, guys?
How are
I
ya?
missed you guys so much. I see Fawn a little bit, but I never see you anymore,
I'm
Ben.
never here anymore.
Love you,
Stupid
bud.
day jobs. Making me do work and
I-
stuff.
Jordan,
They'll do that. They'll take all your time.
Yeah.
I
they
got
pay me.
carried
I hear
away.
you're happy. You like what you're doing now.
That's pretty cool.
Oh
That's
yeah.
pretty
Okay.
I got carried away in Derb's room, so I didn't get a chance to come and take some video of you before you started. Is your client down here too?
Yep.
Do you want to show off what you're working on?
Yeah. you can
Maybe we could
actually,
see if, hey
Uh,
Kyle, you want the handy camera?
mobile with it.
Yeah,
I forgot Kyle's back there in the corner.
yeah, we put Kyle in the cage.
Sounds like
That
fuck.
is your
Okay.
new sound effect. You no longer have a name. You will be referred to as sound effect from now on.
You want to have your client come over and we'll switch
It's
to
like,
this?
"Dang, Jordan.
He's mad. He's mad. His face is all wrinkly. Oh, it's in his face. So we are gonna bring over J Doggy's client, who he is currently busting the ink on, just to check out some like in process stuff. As soon as we get some things unwrapped. Hey, there's some clothes on the table. Okay. All right, let's check this out. Jesus, Bubby.
But yes, this is actually all UV ink. I wish we had the UV light with us right now, but not the black. The black is just black, but the rest is all it fucking glows.
It fucking blows.
It's pretty dope.
That was like the hardest sell I've ever heard. It fucking glows. Do you have a UV light upstairs? So when you're tattooing, do you light up the ink or do
No.
you just run normals?
I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to have like a black light above it and have like something hanging if you was to do more of them and it would be more of a thing. You know, as long as that ink looks really saturated, it looks really saturated with the light.
Can we take psychedelics and watch an arm glow?
Yeah, absolutely. Meet you up there in 10.
Yes, sir. Fawn,
What?
the show's been great. Thank you. I'm gonna go.
I'm
stare at
gonna
an
go
arc.
start tripping balls. I'm just kidding. I want Jordan's room.
See ya. No, that's amazing, man. Congrats. Yeah,
Oh, thank you so much.
it's gorgeous. I guess you did okay too.
Yeah, you did all right, Jordan.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I did a little. I did a little. I tried.
It's-
I tried to help.
No, seriously, your work lately has been just leaps and bounds. It's
Oh.
pretty awesome to see the evolution, like,
Thank you.
as a
It's an
close enough
evolution.
bystander.
Oh,
Pretty
I
cool.
definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
I've definitely
I
been
remember
trying.
like when you first came to Red Tree, you're like, man, I'm trying to find my style. Maybe I like this stuff. Maybe I like this stuff. And like you were already doing this stuff, but man, you kind of exploded. It's like
Mhm.
taking your designs and just making them bigger and broader and like blacker blacks and bolder bolds. And it's all just, I don't know. It's just
Thank
cool
you.
to see you grow like that.
Thank you, Fawn.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Definitely appreciate that. I try to do a little bit more with each tattoo and like go farther. And I'm like, oh man, I really wanted this out of that tattoo. It's like, oh, we're gonna do that in the next one for sure.
Are
It's like
you
I could have gone bigger with that. It's like now we're going bigger next time.
are you always thinking 3 projects ahead?
I would
Does that make sense? Not that you're not focused on what you're doing, not that you're not excited about what you're
Yeah,
doing, but
I
the
would-
tricks that you're learning here, you've already applied to the next, and then you start, and then you're like, oh wait, so on
I would say 1,000% because like, I'm always thinking of like, because I'm always thinking of, okay, here's my capabilities and here's what I'm doing right now. And like, God, I'm learning this thing or I'm doing this thing and this is so awesome. But and like, I can be really excited about something I might be learning or doing in one moment, but my mind is always thinking like, oh my God, I cannot wait for the next project that I do this. Once I do this entire project, like I'm going to learn so much from that. I was able to use this much. I can't even imagine 2 projects from now, what that's going to look like.
I was
And it's like I don't want to detract from any from a current project, because I can only do as much as I can in that and one, but everything I do, I feel like I'm trying to do better the next time and use anything I learned before.
I watched a Bob
I would
Ross
say
thing
so.
the other day, and he was pretty much saying that by time he's done with the painting, he's already evolved the next steps into the, you know what I mean? Like he's literally finishing it to get it out of his head because he's already 2 projects down the road, and he needs to get the next one out of his head so he can focus on the
Right, that
I
could be
know
a
I won't
curse.
be able to find
could be a
it, but have you
curse.
seen that little like reel or video or whatever it is where somebody took all of Bob Ross's paintings and
Yeah.
put them into an animation
Yeah.
and they're like, he wasn't painting a scene, he was painting a journey all along.
Oh, sorry.
I wasn't sure which.
Yeah, no, that's
which-
awesome. I think
which
I've
how it
seen
was
that.
pivoting.
Right. I don't know. I don't know who gave it to me, but I've seen that before. It's been a long time, but I remember seeing that. I definitely agree with that. I feel like it's easy to think like that too. And I think that's a very progressive way to think about it when you're painting and when you're doing anything. But then there's another side of it where God, that can eat me up, where it's like, I'm always thinking about the next painting. I want to
Right.
like, God, I want to start that next
Right.
one. The same idea we just had, but also that thought of the future is always keeping me from the present too, and keeping me from doing the thing that I really like. When I'm constantly thinking of, oh, I'm good at this now. Imagine how good I'm going to be in the future. But why can't I be that good? I don't do the best as I'm doing, or like I need to focus. I feel like focusing more on like the moment and like how good I
Right.
am in this moment, or like what I know right now. You can think about how good you can be, but you can only do what you're doing right now. Do that the best you can, as opposed to,
Mhm.
oh man, why can't I do that thing like that?
That's why I'm
One
only
thing
gonna
I
do
seen.
one image.
Or I drew it like this.
And
Why
just-
can't I
just
tattoo
keep
it like
that
this?
Getting better and better and better. One image, just keep getting that same
snail
image
just
better,
keeps
better,
progressing.
Better, better, better. That way, I only got to think about one thing.
Feel that?
Uh-huh. That's how I'm setting myself up. Control.
Yo, I
Control.
like that.
You start off with like a little like peanuts looking snail, like a peanuts cartoon where it's just like little basic lines and the squiggly, and it's okay if the lines are wonky because it's peanuts. And then you go from there to like
Well, see, I think I want to keep the same outline the whole time.
the same exact outline.
Same
You don't
exact
want it to
outline.
evolve into like a hyper realistic.
It can, but like in that outline.
I'd love to hop in on the cartoon phase of that evolution.
Yes, sir. I'm doing it.
We doing it
We're dissing out snails, bud.
down.
We never did talk about your Christmas present. We accidentally skipped over that.
My Christmas present.
The snail painting. Yeah.
Oh,
We were going to talk about it and never did.
fun painting me a snail.
A little.
Long painted juice snail.
Yeah,
I don't know if I have any
com-
pictures of it
Leah
handy, but
commissioned.
do you?
I don't. I have the painting. I've never
Lame.
taken a photo of it.
All right, guys. I gotta pop off here because we got things we're doing.
Go get the work
Well-
done.
Doing the good stuff.
Good to see you, Jordan.
Can I steal that from you though, real quick?
The tray?
No.
Yeah, we'll probably need it back though.
I might give
When
it
you're
right
done.
back.
Yeah, for Christmas, Leah
Love you guys.
commissioned, love you too, buddy. Of painting from Fawn for me,
Very sneakily,
very sneakily,
right under his nose.
nose underneath. And I was kind of like, hey, two people I care a lot about.
Technology is funny.
You just sleuthing around me. And neither of you can keep a secret from me. And I'm kind of impressed with both of you. I'm gonna call it out there.
It's why I just kind of like kept myself busy with other things at the Christmas party. If we would have talked too much, I feel like I would have given something away.
I didn't. I just figured because
I mean, I was
don't-
busy. All kinds of people
don't
were
take this the
here.
wrong way, but generally, when a group setting, I tend to, I don't want to say neglect, but spend more time with the people I don't see regularly
Well, yeah,
because I know I'll see you in 2 days.
minimally
And
see
we
each
will-
other weekly.
We will high
Minimally.
minimally, at least once. So I was very like, huh, you two sneaky little so and so's, because
You called us a so and so.
oh, I busted out the so and so's because Leah can't lie about anything.
We didn't lie. We
No, I'm just saying, like,
omitted-
keeping secrets is not her jam. I'm not saying either of you lied. That's not what I meant in any way, shape, or form. What I'm saying is the type of people you both are not sneaky. And I can generally read you both pretty motherfucking well.
It's funny because you almost busted me.
Uh-oh.
That one random time you stopped by my house and our buddy Aaron was there.
Yeah.
I had to like scramble and put it away because I didn't expect Aaron to come over that moment and then for you to come in. So I was like,
Love it.
so I put it in my special stash spot where all of my travel cases for my glass collection go. But yeah, I had to scramble. You almost busted me.
I just want to say I'm
It was
just
at like its third layer.
super proud.
You would have
of
been like,
your-
oh, and then I wouldn't have been
sneakiness.
able to lie. It
And
was
then I would
almost
not have been
ruined.
able to lie.
Almost.
I'm just thoroughly impressed with both of you. That's all I'm gonna say. And I love it. It's amazing. I'll bring it in next week and we'll
One of those.
Oh, what?
Look at that.
Ah, Pineapple.
There you go.
say
Thank
what?
you. This is best guest ever.
Brought snacks.
Actually, I had surgery a couple of weeks ago, and
Oh,
one of
geez.
my retirees just sent this to me for go get well.
This is
Nice.
wonderful.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
so I brought it for Mamie and I to hang out. And I'm like, we can't eat all this.
Future record, we accept snacks.
Oh,
Snacks are lovely. Thank you.
Snacks are the best.
Snacks
form
are the best.
of flattery.
And you brought coffee. This one's almost gone. This one's ready to go. Perfect temperature.
I made a pot before we started and forgot to grab one.
Kyle, I have to say, you have been doing a great job this episode, kind of running around and doing stuff.
Thanks.
You're on it.
Trying.
Good
I know-
job, Kyle.
I know Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Ben likes to tell you otherwise, but that time you said
He's-
good job.
He's been nice the past 2 times. I gotta give him that.
2 times. The past
times.
out of 116 times. Maybe like how many episodes do you think you've done with us, Kyle?
What is this chastise?
Gee, I don't know.
How do you have to guess?
20 to 30 range, right?
In that ballpark?
Yeah. 80-ish, right? When I
He's
joined.
catching up. He's
Maybe.
catching up.
What did I miss?
And we talked to Jordan and he showed off the tattoo that he's working on
Oh, good.
and kind of caught up a little bit. Jordan was one of our co-hosts, but responsibilities kind of change and ebb and flow. And so occasionally he still joins us and it's awesome. So just catching up.
I'd be like a 5-year-old covered in shit.
I have a little waste basket. I don't
Need a
have any
napkin?
napkins.
Be right back.
Well, you know, it's a good snack when
Be back.
Ben won't even wipe his hands on his pants.
I'm deciding what I want next. I'm sure.
So before you and Jordan switched places, we were talking about tattoo competitions and Easy Rider and like the early days.
Are they still doing that show locally? Do you know?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. They did it Vets Memorial downtown.
And
And
they're not doing it at Chillicothe anymore either.
really,
Right. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Great. The city like unapproved it because of, you know,
The wild. aspect.
yeah, I think they
Are they
decided
still
they,
doing the Harley rally down there every year? They have to be. It's a huge event.
I don't know. I don't know enough about, I'm out of the loop. I'm just out of the loop of that whole scene. Like now that I'm here, it's like, okay, what events are we working for True Tattoo Supply? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I guess I'll go and
That's where I'm going.
be the extra person, you know?
Are you traveling much?
Yeah, we're kind of like swinging right into convention season. I think we've got at least one trip planned a month for the next few months.
Yeah.
So
Well, I know Derb's going to be tattooing, maybe likely at the Cleveland show or the
Mhm.
Detroit show, and
Yep.
then maybe Chicago or Pittsburgh as well.
Yep.
We're not going out to Philly. It's just too far for us because we work.
yep, we're gonna hit Philly. I'm definitely gonna get footage from there. I've never been to Philly. Have you been to that show before?
No, I haven't. No, it's
So-
just a little bit too far for me.
Yeah, I'll probably have like a list of objectives of like specific things I want to cover, and I'll probably pick a handful of projects and like capture their evolution throughout the weekend.
Or the Revolution, Philadelphia. Are you going to go see the Liberty Bell?
I should. I'm driving over. Most of the time we pack into Derb's Jeep. Last year, we had me, Brian Midkiff, Jess, our warehouse manager, and Derb, and we're all packed in his Jeep with the U-Haul trailer behind us. And I'm all for it, but like it was like 3.5 hours to Indy, and I was like right at my limit of car sickness for the day. So, and I tried
That's
to be
only
a
3 hours.
I
Indy,
try
you
to
said?
be a trooper about it. Yeah, I try to be a trooper. I try not to complain, but like whatever it is, I get car sick. So I'm gonna drive my van. So we'll have extra room in the van should we need more space because it's such a big show. And I'll just follow behind. And
Billy?
yeah, because I thought it's like 7.5 hours from here, I think.
Mhm.
So I mean, I can do 7.5 hours. That's no problem. But 7.5 hours in the backseat of a Jeep is not that fun. I'm not that tall, but like I'm that tall. And like I said, I get car sick. It's a weakness. I can't get past it. Like even if I don't read,
Do you take Dramamine
if
or
I
anything?
it helps. And honestly, sometimes I'll just take a Benadryl because that's an anti-nausea as well. A lot of people don't know that, but it
So
is
is marijuana. Have you tried that?
all the time.
Oh,
All the time. But the car sickness still wins. I
It
don't know.
does. Really?
I honestly, I hate to admit this about myself, but I think it's almost like an anxiety reaction when I'm in the back seat. Like I hate to admit that I'm a little bit of a control freak, but if you really know me, I'm always like, oh no, I'll drive. I know I
Yeah.
value my life.
Yeah.
There-
And you can
there-
control it.
There
Yeah.
are very few people I will passenger with.
I
know
would
what I
not be
mean?
one of those.
Like,
I'm a very aggressive, offensive Chicago downtown driver.
That's
People
actually-
don't like to drive.
that's actually a
Well,
little bit more comforting
Oh,
Yeah,
the
when I need
passive
to
and-
be,
than
I'll
knowing how
definitely
to
be
fucking drive.
My favorite are the people that
a
stop
confident,
and-
aggressive driver is
It's
is-
driving me crazy. They put roundabouts in all of our towns out on the east side of Columbus.
And
And-
the point
and
is to not
everybody's
stop
just
people.
getting used to them.
Oh my God. It's been there for like 3 years now, Gehanna.
I
And
think some people honestly have a fear of roundabouts. Like there's almost a phobia and an anxiety as they come up to them.
I'll get you a problem.
yeah, no, I'm good.
I just try to pick my lane and go.
Yeah. You stay in it, but yeah,
Trick is go fast.
stay in your lane.
Do you want to hit this? No pressure. Yeah, the roundabouts can be a struggle. And it
Our daughter
sucks.
just got in her first car accident in a roundabout in Gehanna where she was pulling into it and
Weather related or just a
no,
fender bender?
No, just 17-year-old girl. Really?
I was gonna ask how old she was next.
Yep. 17 and about
You give her a hard time, call her crash for a few months.
I still do. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
That's just
Thank
par for the course. That's just something we go through.
Mhm.
We
She
all get that
totaled it.
after our
It-
first.
They
accident.
totaled her car.
It was totaled.
Mhm.
Oh, I was expecting it to be just like a
It
little.
was. It was. They just took out the front corner of the hood and the headlight, but because it's so expensive and there's such a high demand for used cars, they totaled it. They gave me like $4 or $5 grand for the car. And I thought those were marshmallows. I think they're
It's a
bananas.
banana.
Yeah, nice.
Oh.
But
It's like even
they
better.
totaled the car and I bought it back, resalvaged it, and it cost me like $600 to cover the car.
Mhm.
And it's perfect. Now it's not worth the damn thing anymore, but it's just a 17-year-old girl. Like if she wrecks it
Mhm.
again, doesn't cost me.
She'll be
Exactly.
right.
I'll just salvage it again.
Mhm.
But
That's the point of a first car is to wreck it.
that was the point of my first 9 cars. Because I was so secluded in my little wheelchair and crutches world as a kid. When I turned 14 and I started to walk and then I got a moped, I treated that
Mobile,
moped.
baby.
I treated that 1981 Vespa or that Honda Express moped. I
Love it.
treated it like a Honda 250R in a motocross race because I was.
So what
I
you're
think
saying
cracked
is
in
you
half.
only do things halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
I
I went.
admire the spirit.
I'm good. Thanks.
No, I love it because I grew up, anything with two wheels was the best day ever.
Yep.
My dad was a Ride Ohio motorcycle safety instructor.
Oh, really? So you
Yeah.
grew up around it?
Yeah, bikes were a thing. So if it had two wheels and I could get my leg over it, we were wrapping it up.
That's
So,
awesome.
Still a big part of my life. But I never understood the Sweet 16. Bought my kid the brand new, insert any car. I don't give a shit if it was a Daewoo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are you buying a brand new car for
Unless it's an investment from insurance.
the practice car?
Yeah.
Like that's what your first car is.
Yeah.
It's to learn to hit shit or not hit shit. You know what I mean? It's gonna happen. It's not if, it's when.
Mhm.
So why are we all naive about this? That's what used cars are for. Like, so anytime I see I got the Mercedes for my 16th birthday.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
"Hmm."
Yeah. My Jewish princess wedding or
Yes.
whatever is all these shows that
Yes.
I see. My gypsy wedding and
Whatever. Sweet 16.
That's what it
Yes. Yeah. No, I know of the show you speak, sir.
are you still riding? I just noticed you got a Harley hat.
Yeah. I got a couple bikes.
I'm going to buy one on Sunday.
What are you looking
to
at?
Detroit. Nostalgia, the FLSTN,
Okay.
the white walls.
Yeah,
low.
yeah,
I'm
love
so short.
I have a 91 Police.
Really, that's a great bike too. It's a big
Um,
bike.
And they're not as big as you think. They're Electras. So they're the small road king.
I'll tell you, that's
will.
what I should have gotten because I went out 3 years ago and I bought the 114, the huge dresser.
Mhm.
And I thought it was gonna be the last bike because I'm now an old man and maybe can sit back and lounge and we can listen to music and drive long distances. I hate it.
Really?
It's so big. It's 1,100 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm only 175. You
Yeah.
put her on the back. I mean,
Mhm.
it's the biggest waste of money in my life. I'm going to buy my old bike
Loved
because
it.
I miss it. It was only 650 pounds. I can handle that. It's
Yeah.
too big a bike for me.
So I've got the Police, and then I've got a.
You know what? I feel like that's something I just want to pause and acknowledge what you just said. I feel like more people need to just admit that because
I struggle to admit it because I got all the money and time into it and it sits in my garage and I'm afraid of it. And
that's one of those things where like you just know better and you need to go back to what you're comfortable with.
I do. And I really thought I was also, a lot bigger than I am now.
Mhm.
I was a bodybuilder. I told you I was really big.
Mhm.
And then it was easy for, I figured, sure, I could handle that bike. Well, I'm not big anymore. And I bought that big ass bike and it's just not a fit.
Well, if you're not moving, you're pushing.
I just think for like
Yeah,
That's
the,
what most people don't realize.
Oh,
with
yeah,
motorcycles.
absolutely.
If you're not like
Oh yeah.
to park it, majority of the time you're pushing it
You have
into
to
a
back
spot.
it into a spot because you can't pull it out.
Mhm.
And my little feet.
Nope,
no
I
way.
think that's one of those things where that's just a reality. And I think people would be much safer if they actually like,
Acknowledge
instead of
that.
just going for the bigger or what like looks and feels like it's going to be the most comfortable with all those bells and whistles, you've got all that extra weight. And
It
like,
is.
even with perfect, healthy, young knees, you can buckle, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
you can,
absolutely.
and all that extra weight, like that's one of those things, like it doesn't matter how strong you are, there's still all of that weight right there.
It's not even just weight. So there's a speed responsibility that people forget about on two wheels.
Yeah.
So I went to buy a Ducati Monster, right?
How long ago?
10 years.
Oh, I was yeah, you're
I
way
was-
fucking old for
I
that
was
now.
young. Oh no, you said I was probably older than that. It's probably 15 years ago. So I go into the dealership and I sit down and I fill out all the fucking paperwork and I'm like, I'm already sold on the bike before I ride it, and you have to fill out financing before they'll let you test drive anything. In the motorcycle world, because if you wreck it, it's fucking yours.
Yeah.
So go through the whole thing and he hands me the keys and I go to take it for a test drive. And I ride it. like that bike should, it
Like
was
you stole it?
designed to be rode.
Yeah.
And I come back and I look at the guy and I throw him the keys. I'm like, no, thanks, man. Like, cancel it out. And he's like, haha, funny. And I'm like, no, I just rode that bike at 100 miles plus in this residential neighborhood all the way through and every like with ease. And he's like, I know, man, it's a blast, right? Yeah,
Like, no, I
let's
don't
go
want,
sometime." Like, I don't think you understand what I'm saying, bud.
scared the shit out of me.
No.
I
No,
will
sir.
die
Yeah.
on this
Value my
fucking
life.
machine. No,
Yeah.
no, I couldn't do it.
That's why I moved to Harleys. I
My-
used to, I,
My
I,
dad would have murdered me. I mean, I've ridden anything with two wheels. I'm now cruisers and love my Harleys. Don't get me wrong, but like I've ridden anything with two wheels on it, and never really owned a sports bike. And for that very reason, though, it was too much too soon.
Yep.
There was never a time where I felt that having that large of a motor or being able to go that fast was ever even viable. There's no sense in having the machine that can go 200 miles an hour when there's nowhere here to go 200 miles an hour.
well, there's nowhere I need to be in 9 or 10 seconds. I can plan.
Hurts is
Yeah.
what you- hurt. And if you're dead set on being that fast, go somewhere where there's a track and a safety team
Yeah.
and leathers and help. Like,
Yep.
I can't stand the well, how do I even say it? The culture of riding recklessly, because it's its own thing. And everybody that's seen the bike I'm talking about knows exactly what I mean. Riding by on one wheel at 110 miles an hour in the middle of traffic. I'm not saying everybody that has those bikes rides that way, but those, man, it drives me fucking nuts.
Yeah, it does. My brother rides a Harley now, but he had a Gixxer
Yeah.
1300.
Yeah. It's a big
And
bike.
he lies to everybody about what really happened, but he lost control on a corner. And, you know, his right hand looks like a little lobster claw because he's got
Yep.
deformed little fingers from shaving them off when he, you know,
Mhm.
when he caught the ground. And
Yep.
I've had accidents. I've slid down the street and
It's same as cars. It's not if, it's when.
oh yeah, exactly.
And that's why, just like you said, you have to acknowledge that you're in too much of a machine. And most people take that as a nick on their masculinity, as opposed to just go get a different fucking bike. Like, nobody looks at you and goes, "Oh, you've only got the 114, pussy." That's not how it works.
Yeah.
I've ridden 440s and had more high fives than on my. I've got a 1300cc bomber. And
What year's
nobody,
that?
huh?
What year's that?
It's built. It's a 92 frame,
Nice.
2003 motor.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's all well done. It's all shop built. I didn't turn the wrenches. Like,
Yeah, I don't wrench anything. Look
No.
at me.
no, it's not. Not with two wheels, because there's no
Too much risk.
there's no margin for error.
No.
If my wheel falls off, I'm dead. If the wheel falls off my car, I got some airbags and a seat
Yeah.
belt.
And 3 other wheels.
Yeah, we'll
You
make
can steer one of them.
We'll make it through. Is my point. I also think that once you get a motorcycle license, it should null and void the law that I have to wear my seatbelt inside of a car. Can we just agree on this for half a
You
second?
know what? That's I don't. I'm a non-seatbelt wearer.
Okay, so
I never wear it, and it drives everybody I know crazy. But I work in my car, and I live in it, and I don't text and drive or anything. But I mean, I work and live in my car, and I'm just distracted. I can't move around. It drives
Hear me
me
out.
crazy.
here in the great state of Ohio, I can get a motorcycle license before you can get a regular license.
Can you?
Yes. Because you can get a moped license at what?
15?
And that's under 400 cc's. You ever been on a 400cc bike? That's
Yeah,
freeway,
sure.
bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you can get a motorcycle license before you can get a regular license. After you turn 18, there is no helmet laws in Ohio,
Yeah.
right? I'm not saying I agree or disagree with this or whatever. It's a fact.
Mhm.
Okay, so I can strap a rocket to my dick and fly down the freeway with no safety equipment, no leathers, no gloves, shorts, and flip-flops. And but you're telling me legally I gotta strap into my cage with airbags?
Yep.
I don't understand the system here. There's a gap in my brain that's like they don't line up. I think if I can be in the roll cage with all the pillows and 4 tires and all that.
Are you a seatbelt wearer?
No.
No.
So I'm gonna
Most
be
people are
honest.
today.
Most of the time in my van, I am not a seatbelt wearer, but if I have even the inclination or the thought of it, I put it on. Like I don't
That's
second
funny.
guess it. Like if I just have the inclination, whether it's because I see a cop, whether it's like, oh, that guy's driving like a jerk, like whatever it is, if there's any even thought of my seatbelt, I just put it on.
I swear all my
and
cars.
I'm
Oh.
almost sure that when I was in the caddy, I'm almost sure I had my seatbelt on because I don't think I would have curled up the way that I did without hitting the steering wheel if I didn't.
Right.
I'm
How long
sure
did
that
you
I
get in
did.
accident?
2 years ago, New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
that
that
what
was
it
the
was?
day.
Yep.
Yeah, because like
Did you have your party hat on New Year's Eve or?
No, it was early.
oh no,
It was
actually
early.
I was hanging out with Ben. Like, yes, we had smoked weed, but like a normal amount. And
Yeah.
there was even the conversation like I should get home before people start leaving the bar.
Or the
because-
amateurs come out?
Trying to
Yeah.
be responsible. I remember she was getting ready to go, and I'm like, "All right, sweet, have a good night." Like, I'm glad we're wrapping up at 10.
But I'm
think,
sure I had my
10:30.
seatbelt on because I stayed so far. I just like curled up into a ball. Like my hand stayed on the steering wheel, but I like curled up as that car hit me.
T-boned her.
Yeah. It wasn't my accident. I mean, I was in it, but I
Wasn't
did
your
not
fault.
cause it. It was
So,
not I.
We got to spend the night at Champion in Ohio in the car, waiting on police.
Thurman, champion of
Thurman.
Thurman.
Sorry, Champion and Thurman, excuse me. Waiting on the police on New Year's Eve.
Was the
Listen
weather
to
bad?
this. The fire department
Not
comes
really.
right away. No, not at all.
Not
It was a
really.
little chilly. Fire department comes right away and they're like, very helpful. They double check and triple check and make sure I'm okay. And they're like, okay, you're good. They were like, we're going to be real honest. The police aren't going to get here anytime soon. And I was like, Great.
Sweet.
like
just
we
got
we just
coffee.
sat there for quite a while and it was like 2 blocks. Well, it was about 4 blocks from my house, but it's true what they say. Like accidents are always in that
Within,
close,
yeah.
comfortable
That's-
proximity.
Because that's
We
how
could
math
walked
works.
home and chilled and then walked back.
But we
and
sat in the car as like midnight struck.
oh,
and-
there's this thing that happens in Columbus. I don't know if this happens in all cities, but like anybody who has firearms, they come out and they let all the neighbors know that they have firearms.
That-
You didn't know
You
what
heard that?
It's not just, you're sure it's not just fireworks?
Hey.
But all of the above.
Yep,
Yes.
fireworks light up in the sky.
Yeah. These
Oh, yeah.
were- Kyle, you've experienced.
Yeah, I learned that one. I was down at the Scioto Mile during that.
We were sitting in a car on the side of the road, and like I looked up at my sunroof, and I like closed.
It's like, is this normal? I'm like,
I
I
closed the window screen. I was like, at least the glass won't shatter on our faces now. Like, it was interesting. It was a good.
but
time.
yeah, I'm very sure I had my seatbelt on when that happened.
Good for you.
I don't always, but the Cadillac also yells at you if you don't wear your seatbelt.
You know, I
Nah.
didn't buy a BMW because of that. I asked them if I could shut it off and they're like, no. So I got online. Can I shut it off the alarm? No, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy the
You-
car.
Do you
Audi
know-
did the same thing. I ended up buying an Infinity because you
You
can
know
turn
what the
off the
trick
alarm.
is?
What's that?
You know what the trick is?
No.
You go buy a seat belt.
Oh, and put it in
Plug.
there. A plug.
So they make dog collar harnesses that come with seatbelt inserts,
Really?
and you just fuck the dog. You just buy the collar thing, and
Can you buy the collar thing without fucking the dog?
I mean,
This
you
is
can't
not
sell it.
legal advice.
I don't know why I'm leaving one part of this out. Okay, but yeah, just like and-
I didn't
Bob
even know. I don't
Johnson?
have pets. I have no idea anything like that exists.
yeah. Well, I
That's technology right there, man.
I have pets, but I was. How do I stop my seatbelt
From
from
dinging.
dinging at me?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they also just like sell spare parts of, that little piece
Seatbelt
somewhere
clip.
online.
I bet so.
I
They
wonder
make
if you
belts
just
and
need to
stuff out
negate
of
it by
them.
sticking
Mhm.
something in it, or if it's actually an electronic connection that shows that there's weight in the seat with the seat. All these ridiculous things they put on safety now.
Now the Cadillac goes, hey, you buckled up, and you just ignore it. You just drive around. It's like, okay, I warned you, and it stops.
Oh, it does, yeah.
It's-
my
you get
Lexus-
two friendly little like, no, all right, you do you, boo boo. Thanks.
I tried. I
Thanks.
tried.
It took me about 3 days to figure out that the Lexus dings 48 times before it goes.
It lets me know the level of.
$49?
Yeah,
Man,
Well, it does it so long. You're like, how many times does it do it? And then you're like, how long does it take? And so I know all the features. Like my
That's
daughter's
fun.
driving the car now.
that's
Swears to
fun.
God, though.
That be 48.
It's like my daughter drives the car. It's great.
That's her car now.
times. That's good. That's why I'm a fan of like older vehicles, pre-annoying seatbelt days, because like
I had that 1991 Honda when the seatbelts became mandatory. And when you got in the car, the seatbelt was up by the windshield.
Sliding
But when you
up.
got in the car, when your ass hit the seat, it went brrr, and then choked you.
Those were the worst.
That was a
Those
1991
were
Honda.
the worst.
Yeah.
We had a Toyota
And then it
Corolla
would
that did
strangle
that.
you if you were
We
looking
had
out
a
the window, top of
hatchback
the
growing
seatbelt.
up. It was just like my mom worked about an hour out of town. So it was just her back and forth to work car, but it was this little hatchback. It was fantastic. Like I remember like it was,
Was it a
the
little Toyota?
90s. It was a Honda.
Oh,
Flip the seat down. My sisters and I would lay
there, yeah.
and like color but like to be a child crawling in the back seat is that thing is like zipping up to decapitate you.
we had another.
Being dramatic, but I was a kid with curly hair. My
Oh.
hair got tangled in everything without me even
I was
trying.
an adult
And you
with
give
perm
me
curly
the
hair. I was an adult with perm curly hair and getting caught in it with a mullet.
I love it.
Ah,
Yeah, we had a Toyota Corolla hatchback that had the decapitating seatbelts. It was also the car I learned to do burnouts in,
Yeah.
believe it or not.
Yeah, that wasn't the Honda. It was front wheel drive. You could do burnouts in reverse,
Oh, no,
whip it around.
spin the tires might be a better term than
Yeah.
burnout. It was a Corolla.
Same as the Honda. Same
Right,
damn
they're
car.
the same fucking car. Man, but I prefer that. I mean, like the truck I drive now is a what 91, 99. It's a 99. It's just old enough, It's got enough bells and whistles.
There's much sugar there too. Did you put it in there?
mhm.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Mhm. I'd rather take something old and keep it alive than.
That's what my wife is doing with me.
Oh,
That's her pledge. She found something old and she's keeping it alive.
that's cute.
It is.
We should make shirts. I keep old things alive.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Yep.
That's something we really do need to sit down and talk about. I think we do need to come up with some shirts and some swag, like maybe shirts
Some
and coffee
Sassy
mugs.
Collecting 101 swag.
Yeah. Yeah. As like we get a little
Well-
bit more involved and stuff, it'd be cool to have like giveaways, interactive things.
There was a time in my life when I worked at a
Caller
custom-
9 will mail you a strawberry.
Ooh.
Caller 13 will mail you too.
There was a time in my life where I worked at a custom apparel manufacturing facility.
I mean, we all know people to print things. Oh, you know what? While we're on the topic, do you remember Andrea, the guest we had a while ago that has all the geometric work from Loaf? She is now doing custom things. Let
Yay,
me,
custom things.
I know I sent it to our Instagram. Let me see if I can find it. If
Right.
not,
I can't stare at the shit.
I'll pull up
And
her
not eat
conversation
stuff,
with
yeah.
me. But just because she's such a rad collector
this way.
and she was a awesome guest, I would love to share what she's up to. Sorry, this takes me a second.
Mm.
There we go.
Screen share, Pawn.
I'm working on it, Ben. You know I'm not fast at this.
Who is this?
Her name's Andrea. She joined us on an episode a few months ago. I'd love to have her on again. She has a huge, amazing bodysuit by a tattooer that goes by Loaf.
He's okay.
Mhm.
An apple?
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Oh, no, this isn't it. This is not. Gotta go up further. Not the right link yet.
Can't beat my sweaty balls.
I bet you can. I bet you can.
Here we go.
Oh, goodness.
At least I wasn't screen sharing when I pulled up the totally wrong thing.
I mean, at least you weren't screen sharing when it was a picture of your license in the background.
Thanks, Kyle.
That was super small and unreadable
That's his excuse every time.
because it was. It's also not in there anymore.
He accidentally pulled up a picture of Pawn's license one night.
Just your
live on
driver's
air.
license?
Yeah, just
On
threw
the
it on the big screen
giant
behind
fucking
us.
stream.
It's okay. And then he cut it out and he did a great job cutting it out. But when we come back, I'm like, Kyle, share that. So there's so much innuendo in there, but all it really was a flash of my driver's license for about 3 seconds, if you're paying close attention.
But we have to
was
ridicule him
extremely
mercilessly
pixelated.
so he doesn't forget his mistakes.
He says extremely pixelated. He's like, I couldn't
Extremely
even read it. I
pixelated.
tried to clarify it.
I tried to write down the numbers first.
Zoom in. Mind you, Kyle like has this laptop more than I do. Don't even need to write it down.
Aww.
All the trust, Kyle.
These are things.
Yeah, so this is what
She got a mug
Andrea's
sublimator.
doing. Yeah. I just wanted to show you guys because like, tattoo community, tattoo love. So
Nice.
but yeah, she just kind of started making them as a hobby and it turned into like a little side project. So
Go back up. Oh, you going too
am I
fast?
going too fast? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Hurting my brain.
Hold on, let me rewind. Look away.
Okay, no, we're good. We're
Okay.
good.
Okay, we're good. I'll use this button
I just wanted to
instead.
see if she was how she was sprinting. That's all. That's all. I'm a nerd, Fawn.
What's the name of the
I gotta scroll back up. I've been smoking.
I saw two things. One was called Needful Things. The other one was called that cat addict. Oh, Needful Things. That's what it is.
Oh, that was another friend of hers that she shared a page with. I just accidentally pulled the wrong link up
What the
first.
hell, Fawn?
Well,
Nice.
Yeah, come on,
The
intern.
future is
Jeez.
female. Well, half of it is.
true.
I mean,
Fair.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Look at that dirty.
I agree with you. Oh, dirty mitten love.
Mm-hmm.
Babies supporting babies.
Just
Babes supporting babes.
You were
It's an
close.
orphanage cup.
That's sketchy. I don't know if we want to do that. So at least let them be a little like at least 18.
Oh, is this what you were
Yes.
asking about? This so they'll be carrying her mugs.
Oh,
Nice. That
also
looks
kitty
like,
kitty deluxe
is that,
sells.
is that a gifts and retail store? Or is that a waxing
so.
and spa?
I'm guessing
I
it's
don't
jewelry,
believe
gifts, and
it's-
accessories.
Yes, I believe. Good,
I'm just-
good
Just guessing.
putting together of details.
So are you saying that we should commission her to make our mugs?
I mean, I have my brother who has him and his wife. He and his wife have a mug business that has gone viral, but she's a pretty awesome collector, and I want to just
Well,
share her stuff
fine.
with you.
Your family can do it. I
Well,
guess.
no, I would.
Sorry, needful thing.
I would
was trying-
love. No, I would love
I
to work
was-
something out with her and have. That's kind of how the conversation started. Was talking with her and like, I would love to have different things to give away and feature and. Like limited editions of, and we only have 25 of these. Catch us at such and such a show if you would like this limited run of blah, blah, blah.
I think we need to get on some of this in-person action.
You
we've been
see what
talking
I'm
about.
saying?
Well, pal. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yep. Like it could be like special meaningful gifts that we could give to like collectors that we run into, things like
Hey,
that.
you're not a dick. Here's a coffee mug.
Yeah.
Love it.
I like you. Here you go. But yeah, so
I love it.
it's actually been a couple weeks since we talked. I just happened to think about this while we're sitting here. But so yeah, if you I
Nice.
wonder if I can find the episode that we had Andrea on.
No, you can't.
I bet I could. Let's go. Ben, you're supposed to carry the conversation when I get
Oh,
involved in technology.
So
I got you. I'll look.
You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we had
Kyle's on
somebody
it.
that looked for stuff.
Well,
Come on, Kyle.
What do you think I'm doing right now?
he's on it now. I'll go
Love it
back to
every
just
minute of
I'll
it.
just go back to just watching us.
Loving every minute of it.
We get musical sometimes. It happens by accident. Last week I think we broke into song like a record number of times. This week we're not very musical.
I haven't rewatched last week. I know that there was a little bit of singing.
Yeah, we sung a lot.
There was a little bit.
106.
Do you want me to pull it up or are you pulling it up?
Come on, Kyle.
Oh,
Pull it
we're
up.
pulling up like the episode
Pull it
itself.
up.
Yeah, I just wanted to show him who Andrea was. 'Cause, like,
Jeez.
was it that long ago?
What, 6 episodes ago?
106?
We're at 113, 7 episodes ago?
I don't know. It feels like it was just a couple weeks ago.
7 weeks ago was a couple weeks ago. Fuck you talking about?
I don't
You know what's happened to my life in 7 weeks? Are you kidding me?
Oh, time flies when you're having fun.
I guess.
Time's fun when you're having flies. Something like that.
Ooh. So I received a magic set
Oh, yes.
for Christmas this year.
Did you learn some more tricks?
One of the tricks involves flies.
What?
There
Mhm.
was no.
I'm not gonna
way to
spoil it, but
swallow the fly.
I don't know why she's swallowed the fly.
Perhaps she'll die.
There's a lot to that song. I'm just gonna stop now.
It's kind of like the peanut song. I
Yeah.
found a peanut.
Yeah, just
You know that one?
because it'll be in my head for 19 days.
You're welcome, Ben.
Fucker, it's already there. Yeah, I don't know why she swallowed the fly.
Here, Fawn, I'm gonna send you a link to pull it up, and it'll pull it up at like a spot in the video where we're showing off her collection.
Nice, Kyle.
Wait, look at Kyle? Being all Kyle like
I'll have to fix the screen shared thing for next week.
It's okay.
she,
got
that's what
this.
she said last
Yeah.
week. It's almost like you just dedicate time to just only being here once a week.
Oh, did it not pull it up at that time code?
I don't know. Let me go back to it.
Okay, it's at 31 minutes. Yeah,
31.
31:30.
Look how Kyle like you
Boom.
look. Aw, you're so cute.
Now let me make this big. Let me enable the sound. Oh, I lost my cursor.
You're getting so professional.
I wish.
I gotta go check on Mamie again.
Okay, we'll be here.
What time you guys shut down?
We try not to go longer than 3 hours, so probably maybe a little while longer.
Good deal.
Probably not. A little while
Yeah, we
longer.
could be here a while. We'll probably be here a while.
Oh,
All right. Screen share. I gotta enable the sound.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
so if you guys are paying attention to what Fawn is walking you through, what she's actually teaching you how to do now is run Vimeo.
I know that is not. This is barely doing a minimal screen share on Zoom.
Zoom.
That's
I
all
said
I
the
know
wrong,
how to
wrong
do.
thing. Ooh, look how fat my face is.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Nice.
mostly black and gray.
Oh, thanks,
and then
Kyle.
One,
Yeah.
Maybe.
one colored
Do we
leg.
have sound?
Nice.
Yeah.
I dig the American traditional though. That's
And one of the
Me
cool things
too.
about
There you go.
Andrea's collection is everything by the same artist or most of it.
Everything.
Nice.
nice.
The old stuff I had lasered off, so started over.
She's got a fantastic
Here's the
collection.
picture,
She's
Kyle.
somebody
I'm
who
getting
we've
to that.
competed.
Could you be any pickier today?
I might be.
Oh,
But I
a
love
great
that side
point.
piece.
Thank you.
I like when Polynesian is more tattoo than negative space because like
Yeah.
traditional Polynesian is super packed on top of each other, but the negative space is what makes those amazing crisp lines. So it's cool to see it done that proficiently. That's really, really well done.
The cool thing about Andrea, like for me, is like we've competed together in like geometric and all around female. But I've also like judged her work as well.
Right.
And it like I just love seeing collectors that like take as much pride as I do. Like when you just like aside
That's
from it
really
being a
well done.
competition, I just love somebody that's like
Yeah.
equally as passionate and just wants like quality, bold work
Right.
that is actually
Yeah.
worth sharing with other people. And then you
Yeah.
actually share it with other people.
Wow.
Well, I think
That's a
that's
really
how
eloquent
I
point,
met
Fawn.
you, as I was
Yeah.
obsessing over your back piece. I'm like, oh, I love your back piece. Very
Yeah, it's a
geometric.
gnarly
also.
collection.
Conceptually, yours is very similar.
It's funny to see multiple
Yeah,
little windows
yeah.
of us
Seen very
all at the same time.
eye-tricking, very
I'm gonna try
flow.
not to watch it.
Trippy
It's
Yeah.
trippy.
very, very well done.
It's one of the things where
Who's your
like,
artist?
It's loaf.
Love. That makes sense.
And like my back piece has a bunch of cover ups in it too. So it's kind of having to work around all that.
I just love seeing like here's the thing that I think about when like I'm in
Trying to
in
find a good spot to
position
end this, but we're
judge
actually
is,
having
like,
a great conversation.
how do you even compare like my back piece with her back piece when they're so similar but so different? Like how do you compare them?
Right.
They're different.
Well,
You know,
at some
both
point,
are graphic, both are eye catching.
when they're so form fitting correctly and shaped correctly and design is on point and all of that, you really have to go to the actual technical application of the tattoo. If you can't find a design flaw and you can't find an error in form and flow,
I must have been really high. I
You
said
got- you
flow
gotta
like
go to-
9 times.
who
Form
has
and
the
flow.
better place
Isn't that what we do on the show?
tattoo?
No.
Sometimes I've been a judge and I'm like, I don't even want to make this decision. And then Derb will be like, tiebreaker, where's
Go
Fawn?" And I'll
ahead,
be like,
Fawn.
"Ah."
Step on up
Oh.
to the stage and break
Oh
the test.
no.
was just
How
saying I
nerve-wracking
was
does
glad
that
I
get at
wasn't
competitions
judging.
having to be that
Yeah,
person all the
tiebreaker.
time?
It's
What
okay
I
though.
try
Then
to
I gotta
do-
come up with something like what is like if I had to say one was
What I try to do when I get put in a situation like that is just be as much like, I try to imagine what it would be like to be like one of my college professors when we were having our critiques and just like look at it for what it is and look at it for like which one is, which one, if I have to decide, if I have to come up with a technical reason that makes one stronger than the other. Like I try to like very subjectively just make the
Hmm.
decision based on like squinting at the piece and like looking at it up close and looking at it far away. I try to have a reason that I can explain clearly because usually if there's a tiebreaker needed, a few people ask me why I made that decision. So I have to like be considerate and
Have
thoughtful.
an answer.
Yep. And sometimes it's a matter of these are both really good tattoos, but I think this one will heal better than that one. And I've made a decision based solely on that before where they were two totally different styles of tattoos, but one was black and gray photorealism and it was fantastic. The other was super bright colored, kind of like psychedelic, also fantastic. But it looked as if one might have an easier heal. So where I couldn't really find any specific error or any weak point in either tattoo, it was like, I think this one's going to need a touch up and this one won't. Like that basically is what it came down to. And like, unless I would have gotten up like 6 inches away from both of those tattoos to actually like look at the trauma and the application and,
Right.
that was the deal breaker for me. They were both beautiful. They were both flawless, but I thought one probably wasn't going to need touched up or touched up less. And the other was going to have a few areas that were definitely going to need just a little bit more love. You know what I mean?
I
Like
do.
the conventions, when something's done in a weekend like that, sometimes there are sacrifices that are made just to get it done,
Mhm.
or to get it to a certain point. So sometimes trauma to the skin is one of those things. You might push it just a little bit more. You might push it just a little bit faster than you would just to get it accomplished.
Right.
So there's that was a kind of a specific example. Another tricky decision. I was looking at 2 bio sleeves and they were both collectors that I know really well. And they were both collectors that have work from really, really phenomenal bio artists. And I was like, man, how am I going to decide this? So I asked Derb, I was like, can I like step away and look at them from a distance? And Derb's like, you can do whatever you want. So I like jumped off the stage and like walked out by the middle where everybody was sitting. And I was just like looking and seeing which one looked the most like it does when it's close up. And one of them was just a little bit bolder than the other. Like up
Right.
close, they are dead ringers, both very good, both done by artists better than me, artists I admire. So like to find fault in that is a pretty intimidating thing.
Right.
But when I can get 30 feet away and say that this one looks bolder and more readable 30 feet away than that one. Up
Right.
close, they're exactly the same, but that
Huh.
one's going to catch me from across the room a little bit more than the other one. And like that was what I chose to be my deciding factor instead of getting up close like I usually do. That time I got as far away as I could because I was familiar with both pieces. You
Right,
know what I
right.
mean? Like I knew them well, like I had watched them when they were being done. So I think I enjoy it when, even though there is pressure, I try to be very like, this makes a difference to the collectors and the artists.
Right.
Like awards are more important to some artists than others. And then also like sometimes that award might give the artist clout to not be like kicked on as the apprentice at the shop anymore. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like these awards are like milestones for some artists. Artists work for years wanting to win an award. And then they work for years wanting an award from Hell City
Right.
or Motor City or like whatever their favorite
Right, right.
convention is. But they're just these milestones. And I feel like they need to be taken really seriously. Like we talk about it as collectors. It's great for our artists to win, but like for those artists, it's potentially career changing. You know, if you're an artist applying for a job at a shop and you show them your portfolio, they might not necessarily take you seriously because they get a lot of people that want jobs and show them portfolios that are pretty strong. But you say you've won an award at a prestigious event, that might
Tip the scales in
just a
your
little
favor.
bit. Yeah. So
Especially if it's the type of show that, or type of shop that is looking for someone that wants to travel, that
mhm,
wants to go to shows, that wants to
get the names out
participate
there.
in that style of marketing, promotion, and shop awareness, if you will. Yeah.
I can't get this open.
What is it?
It's thinking putty. I was just gonna fidget with it, but I could roll another thing up for us.
Yeah, let's do that too.
Because I
but
can't get it open.
Maybe the thinking putty is like the
It's
real
not-
thinker is,
think-
can you open it?
I think I let it sit sideways too long. And now it's like suction cupped together.
Sitting sideways, boys in the day.
Maybe I'll just let it sit flat for a long time and then it'll pop right open. This is like a challenge accepted. I don't break your nails, Ben.
Do you want to pass it over?
Yeah,
The
got it.
intern wants it.
I've got it.
This is
I
what I'm
got it
here
loose
for.
for you.
Start moving.
Intern, I have a question.
What?
Hold on. I don't know if I need it or not. I might need you to step and get me another wrap. Nope, I have one.
But what we do need is the tray,
The tray.
because J Doggy
Oh,
took
no.
it and then abandoned us.
He forgot.
You forgot,
He was thinking about work. It's okay.
which is fine. Thinking
So-
about putty.
What Ben's trying to open up is a little can, one of the little travel size cans of Aaron's thinking putty, which is awesome. It's like the best. It's like a harder consistency than silly putty. And it's just the perfect thing to like fidget and I don't know, stretch and play with. Keep your hands busy. Good job, Ben.
Play and stretch and keep your hands
Thanks.
busy.
Thanks for getting my toy out for me.
I'll play with it while you roll this one.
Okay. Now we have something to do with our hands. But anyways, this is a really good fidget to have on hands for my clients. I usually have one of these pretty close by, like in case my hands get sore, but sometimes I'll let my clients play with them just to like keep their mind occupied and keep their hands busy.
Well, now that my hand is sore from trying to pry open said container, it's very relaxing.
Hey, Ben,
What's up, G?
did you ever know that you're my hero?
You can be my hero, baby.
Oh, I was going with you're everything I wish I could be.
Oh,
Ben,
what?
you are the wind beneath my wings. Did you ever know that you're my hero? Kyle, do you know this song?
I do not.
The fuck, Kyle? Was the wind beneath my wings? It's all good, right?
Yeah. It was, if there was a baritone part for it, that would have been it.
That's it, right there.
That would be Bette Midler, Wind Beneath My Wings. It's
Good
one of
look,
those
Kyle, play
cheesy
it.
songs that makes women's eyes leak.
In the arms of an angel.
That's Sarah McLachlan. That's a whole different direction. That one makes you cry because now it makes you associate like sad puppies.
Sad puppies dying in the shelter, singing money. What? You
Nothing.
love Sarah McLachlan.
I actually do. I did grow up in like the 90s and early 2000s. That's
No
kind of
way.
like I don't think you can have gone through middle school at my age and not.
I think I have too many calluses for this stuff.
Is it getting sticky on
It's
you?
shredded.
Put it in there.
It's shredded like Ninja Turtles. Shredder is the guy they fight in Ninja Turtles. That wasn't that random. Shredder.
Kyle, did you know who he was talking about?
One more time. What?
Shredder from Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I know about Shredder.
Okay.
Did you just lie to me?
I do know
I
about.
feel like you just lied to me.
No, I do.
You know, one of my favorite Lil Wayne lyrics is "All rats gotta die, even Master Splinter."
Oh, that's just kind of sad. As a youth, I was not allowed to watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Do you want to know why?
Because they were sent down from Satan.
Very fucking close. Like very,
Basically.
very fucking close. No, what it was not that they were mutated fighting turtles, right? Because that wasn't enough. It was that on one episode of the cartoon, they meditated. And if they're meditating, that means they're praying. And if they're praying and they're not praying to God, that means they're committing a sin, right? And now they're teaching us to pray to things that aren't Jesus, and that's bad. Could we
Hmm.
just stuck with like violence, like, hey, they're kicking the shit out of each other. Nope. Meditated. Sorry, Raphael.
I mean, to be fair,
Leonardo,
like
Michelangelo,
have you
Donatello.
thought how violent some of the stories in the Bible really are?
Yeah, like the whole fucking book.
I'm just saying, like, you got people being burned, you got
Stoned.
people being stoned.
They
you
weren't
got
smoking weed,
people
people. They were bearing them up to their necks and then bludgeoning their heads with fucking rocks.
Let
So being
he
stones.
Maybe I need to read the
who
Bible
is
after all.
without sin cast the first stone.
Yeah. It'd have been me. So I'd be like, fuck, it's me.
People fed to lions, people sacrificing their offspring.
Can we talk about how a torture device became as like a national symbol?
I feel like we've had this conversation
Have we?
before. Yeah, like of all the things, like one of the miracles. Shouldn't one of the miracles be what we wear around necklaces?
Like why?
Not the torture device that people slowly publicly suffocated on.
Hear me out. How else would we be scared then?
I don't know, but there's like the Jesus fish. There's like you could have like a wine bottle being poured into something. Like I don't know. There's all that you could a flip flop,
So hear me out.
something.
Like if
Could
you were trying
imagine
to
if
like
all the religious tattoos that were like crosses and praying hands were like a flip flop instead?
or like the flying spaghetti monster.
Oh man,
I
it'd be
I saw something
fantastic.
the other day that said there's only two religions, and one of them is believing in an alternate power and looking up for guidance to work down, and one is centering yourself to the ground to work humble up, right? But they're saying they're the same path to the same enlightenment. They're different paths to the same enlightenment or whatever, and it really like I'm synopsising a 15-minute or so like thing, but it was really cool to think about that. Like the whole point of both was just to not be a piece of shit.
You know, it's a funny thing. Like if you just read the book for what it is, whichever book
All of
you
them.
choose, if you just read the book for what it is, it's pretty much like a play-by-play instruction manual on how to be a decent person.
Yeah.
So why are there so many religious wars when most of them are teaching one another how to be honest, how to love one another,
Because
how
they
to
got
treat
different
other
books.
people appropriately? But like if they actually took the time to read each other's books, they'd see that they were so similar.
Fine. Do you not remember Nana Nana Boo Boo? I'm right. You're wrong. Have we not forgotten that golden fucking rule? You're different, so you're wrong, and I am right, so fuck you.
Well, he got you there.
And isn't that what separates us all as humans?
Hmm.
Instead of just being like, oh, I see what you're doing over there. Cool. This is what I do over here. Have fun over there.
Me as a person, I'm not a political leader. I don't
Yeah, you
lead
are.
a country. nobody pays attention to what I'm saying.
I do
But like,
every day.
if I were in a position of any importance, I would be like, what y'all doing over there?
Hi, over there.
Can I see some of those tricks and secrets?
You
I'll
want
share
some
some of
ice
mine.
cream? Our tricks and secrets is we import cocaine and then sell it on the streets to the less fortunate, mixed with baking soda to hook them all.
That's fair. My ideas are always too utopian because and then they'd be like, oh, we'll let you know, but then we'd have to kill you. And I'd be
But-
like, oh man, I knew I'd accidentally get involved with the
know,
Mexican
if we-
cartel.
If we burn just like one
Nancy
field,
Botwin was the warning.
if we just burn like one field of heroin and ship the other 6 back. And
I accidentally made this kind of big. Should I put a filter in it?
I love a filter.
I should take the time to filter it.
Hear
a
me
little.
out,
Do you
bro.
have some?
Hear
in
me out,
your-
bro.
I have some in the locker in the little storage area. If you don't have some.
Oh, I had.
I'm just gonna do like one of these. I'm just gonna
No
roll this little up. and
motherfucking
we'll
way.
put it on. Why?
No, I've got a package of cone filters that live in that box that are not there, and it
It's
makes my
okay, I have
insides hurt.
this. It's all right.
You can just take one of these too. And unroll it.
It's all right. I'm already there. I think that's too long. There's only a small amount of space. This is gonna be perfect.
We're officially snabs.
I call this recycling, first of
Snaps.
all.
We are snabs.
I just don't want it in Scooby stacks
I don't like Scooby
in my
snacks.
teeth.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So like what's next on your tattoo agenda? What do you got coming up that's cool?
Next week at this time, I believe I will be either in Philly or en route to Philly.
So or what are we podcasting? How's that gonna work out? The listeners want to know.
The listeners want to know. I would say it's probably going to be you and Kyle here in the studio.
What?
You're gonna leave me with him?
Abandoning me.
Oh, jeez,
You-
man.
Just
Do you want me to get you a referee?
No.
it's fine. I'll figure it out.
But I'm hoping, I don't know for sure what the whole plan is. But we'll be riding over. I'll probably follow the U-Haul with all the supplies and materials. So as soon as we get in, I will either set up a podcast, start getting footage. It all just depends on when we show up. So
Philly's a humongo
I
show,
could be
right?
joining you from the road, or I could be joining you as we're unloading or as we're already set up. Cause me, Jess and Brian set up so fast that like Derb just gets to walk around and like, don't get me wrong. Derb is always very helpful. He's never trying to get it, but it's very often that Derb gets drug away for any other numerous amount of possible conversations that could happen.
See, senior.
But whether he's with us or not, me, Jess, and Brian it's just seamless to like load in, load out, unload all the things. Like we've done it together so many times and we like know what needs done so well.
Teamwork, huh?
Yeah, we all know like kind of what Derb standards are. So it's easy to like make decisions as far as like, every booth layout is a little bit different. So we have to make adjustments on the fly. But like I feel like we all know, like when we look at something, whether Derb would like that or not. So we'll keep adjusting until we get it right. And he comes back and he's like, good job, guys. And he'll like tweak a few things and then sit down and relax. So we're like, good job.
Wunderbar.
But
Yeah, that's often how it's set up at Hell City goes. They're
Mhm.
like, hey, here's things that need done.
Yep.
Bye.
And
in
the
the best
thing
way.
is,
I mean
after
that the best
setting up
way.
Hell City is so huge and there's so much and
Yeah,
there's
one
so
booth is
much
like-
lead up to it that, yeah, when we're just literally only the warehouse, like true tattoo supply stuff, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
And I feel like, if it's the 4 of us traveling together, we know what we're getting ourselves into. We know how much work it's going to be. We know how long the days are going to be. Like
Fair.
it's nice to have a group of people that travels well together. I
That
think
get
is
it,
what I'm
yeah,
getting at.
yeah.
Yeah. Like none of us are really partiers by any means, but at the same time, we can all hang and be social. And then like, I don't know, we can hang by ourselves. We can check out together, like whatever it is. We just travel really easily with
My
one
favorite
another.
part, I know when I'm in a good group, when I'm allowed to be by myself. Does that make sense? So like, say Hell City, right? We're all hanging out, this, that, and the other. I'm allowed to be like, all right, friends, I'm gonna go do this thing by myself. See you later. Bye. And everything doesn't need to be a group activity. Everything doesn't need to be like super planned and detailed. No one wrote an itinerary. Are we all gonna try to get a bite to eat at the same time? Sure, if it pops up that way. Is
Mhm.
anybody gonna be mad if you grabbed a sandwich on the way back? Absolutely motherfucking not. And there's so many people that you travel with that feel like everything needs to be like planned and cohesive. And no, we're having Chick-fil-A for lunch. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's
I think
nice to
that's the
have a
nice thing
group
because
that
we
works.
can either decide on the fly or we can be like, okay, here are the available options. Or like, because we've traveled together so much, we all know like none of us are gonna want to have a greasy, unhealthy meal. Like
Malarkey.
that's our when we're traveling,
I'm kidding.
when
you
you're
know,
on the road.
I eat like a bird when we're on the road.
Yeah. So like we all know just like out of our routines, we're gonna eat healthier meals when we're traveling if we have the option.
You know what's funny is that
We're actually gonna eat multiple meals
most
during the
groups
day.
are the opposite. They're like, let's go through Mickey D's, and you guys are like, can we find vegetables?
Maybe a Subway?
Something with fresh in the name.
I mean, don't get me wrong, McDonald's breakfast is fantastic.
I wasn't slaving it. I just meant like breakfast, lunch, and dinner does not to be
Vegetables are very important when you're on the road.
Yeah, you get bound up.
Yeah, I feel like we have a pretty good we've just got a really good travel group. I'm just really thankful of that. I hear horror stories all the time where people will be like, I traveled with so and so and all we did was this and this and I couldn't do this, or
Mhm.
you know, or some people just get drug a million places and don't like any of it. It's like, well, why didn't you just do your own thing then?
Yeah.
But sometimes like
You-
travel tattoo families have different dynamics, but I love our group. We have a great group that travels together.
Makes it nice. Makes it nice. Even the big crew going to Phoenix is we all are very well traveled. And it's nice that there's a lot of us that have done it enough that they know the routine. So when there's new people, it's just kind of like, hey, just should follow and you'll be fine.
Mhm.
And it works out well. Kyle, you've been moving around and
He's
being all
on it.
jumpy around tonight.
Yeah, he's making the cameras look good, getting different angles for us.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Amazing production quality coming
We're
from this
getting there.
kid.
We're getting there. I like your Arby's cup front and center.
I was
Big
trying to
A
get
on there.
trying to get it sponsored.
That would be awesome.
I wanted to say something like as soon as we started.
Just say something, Adam.
Arby's. What is it? We have the meat. Is that
We
there?
got me. Yeah, I think that's the thing.
Do you remember Hardee's roast beef sandwiches?
Yes. Do you remember Rax?
I don't remember Rax.
So Rax is Arby's from 1992. That was delicious. There's still a few of them floating around in the world, but
Is it really like an Arby's from 1992? Like
Yeah.
it got gobbled up by Arby's and it's
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
like almost everything was their mascot was an alligator. Amazing,
All right.
so good. But I digress.
Got me thinking about this alligator now. Do you remember while we're talking about company logos and company spokespeople, do you remember the Domino's Noid? Kyle
I know
doesn't.
about the Noid.
What? You
Yeah, I know
the-
about the Noid.
How do you know about the Noid?
Through like online videos and whatnot.
Fear the Noid.
So I'm aware of the Noid.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, Kyle.
Motherfucker didn't see Point Break until he was an adult.
Watch.
Well,
We
you know,
watched-
there's more
I said
YouTube
so, he
videos
was
about
an
the
adult.
random facts like the
So-
Noid.
After watching Point Break, do you think our next movie night should be Tu Wong Fu? Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
No.
Kyle needs to learn about anti-Nazi.
Okay, fair. But that's enough.
I'm ready for a movie night whenever. You know my schedule.
I do.
I work here.
You said that so bold and confidently.
Well, I work here.
The fuck does that mean, Kyle?
Hey, I think he's just saying you know how to find him.
Oh, that's fair and accurate. I do have his phone number.
Yeah,
We can make that work.
we got his number.
I don't know. I just feel like I think Roadhouse should be next, if you want to be honest.
Roadhouse would be awesome, and then Tu Wong Fu.
Okay, fair. Fair.
Do you know you don't know this movie, do you?
No.
Tu Wong Fu.
I do
Thanks for
not.
everything. Julie Newmar.
You don't, but you know the Noid.
Well, I don't know
It's,
what that says about the internet, but
It's a fucked up weird place.
there are important things in life, you know?
Is there?
Yeah, like
Tell
the
me
Noid.
about it.
Do you know who John Leguizamo is?
Oh my God,
Sounds familiar.
the
but-
best.
Yeah.
He's the drag princess.
Actually, my favorite John Leguizamo role is Romeo and Juliet.
We talk about Romeo and Juliet too much. What is it? Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and
Yeah,
Juliet,
yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio,
Yeah.
that custom like
Yeah.
square body convertible. I don't even know whether it was
Cutlass.
like Cutlass
It
or
was a
what.
Cutlass. No, it was. It was a tubback Cutlass.
Dropped low, super
Yeah.
square front end. It's
It
like if
had
a
sex with
Cutlass
his
and a
tailpipe,
Rolls Royce
yeah.
had a baby. Ben,
Yeah,
settle down.
I like that kind of a lot.
Getting too rowdy over there.
I wanted a pistol with a
Super
dangly
short little windshield.
thing on the bottom of it for a really long time.
Hmm.
Because if you watch like the 9mm are called daggers.
Mhm.
He's like, grab my dagger, blah 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 blah. And
My long sword home.
bring me my long sword. Yeah. I was a little bit dorky on that movie. I watched it a bunch.
Oh, Ben.
It was one of my favorites.
Who is Juliet? Claire Danes?
I don't know.
Is that who it was?
Juliet, that's her name. Doesn't change, bruh. Just like I don't care what
That soundtrack,
Romeo's in. He's
that
Romeo.
version of When Doves Cry. If I could get a tattoo of the way those visuals. I
See,
don't know.
okay, so you know that like Roman Catholic pop art shit they did in that?
Mhm.
That's how I want to design Holy Crepe. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Get down with that.
Yeah. I'm just saying. That's how I'm gonna do it. Also, do you remember the Reverend's back tattoo in that?
Yes.
Baller as fuck.
Nobody had back tatties like that then.
No, they didn't. That's what made him cool as shit.
It's fair.
And I was like, wait, he's the priest? Do you know the context behind who the priest was?
Tell me, fill me in.
He's a hidden criminal. I don't want to
Okay.
go too deep because I don't know the like full story, but like, yeah,
Okay.
like in like that time, a lot of times the church hid individuals in different places, and that's why he was like deep into the botany and was making poisons and things along those lines because he was implanted.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I see what you're getting at.
And that's why, like, yeah.
Oh, the early 2000s. What, late 90s, early 2000s? There was a whole bunch of Shakespeare inspired movies came out.
A whole bunch. That's the only one I knew of.
There was like Shakespeare in Love.
Oh, okay, fair.
There was
Midsummer Night's
10
Dream.
Things I Hate About You was
Was-
like super Shakespeare.
Yep.
It was a Taming of the Shrew, like a modern adaptation of Taming of the Shrew. So there
Oh.
are all kinds of Shakespeare references in that.
Wasn't there was another like
There,
teeny bop.
Othello. They read it
Yeah.
Othello.
There's another teeny bopper movie that was like a same sitch. But you know me, super media driven and remembering all that stuff is my strong point. Not at all. I had to watch when Hallie meets Sally, when Sally meets Harry, when Harry meets Sally. Sally meets Harry. How's that go? Which one is
When
that?
Harry met Sally.
That one for the first time a couple weeks ago.
How was it?
Cultural experience.
Okay. I don't think I've watched that since like I was a kid.
I didn't watch stuff when I was a kid. So like
It's fair.
everybody's like, what do you see? I get called too a lot. What do you mean you've never seen? And I'm like, well, like that was old and cheesy by the time I started watching stuff. So
Well,
that's why I don't like horror movies. Everybody's like, oh, you didn't grow up on the Friday 13th. I'm like, no. And by the time I watched them as an adult, they were outdated and dumb. He's behind the tree. He's got a fucking chainsaw. You can see him.
I didn't know those movies were really scary to people.
That's like the most fun thing to say ever. You know, like, I just thought it was a joke. You
I
know?
mean, I did when I was little. Like I'd watch. I actually really loved Freddy Krueger.
Right.
Like I would be like little 3-year-old version of me would like run around with bubbles all over me, pretending I was Freddy Krueger. Like I loved Freddy Krueger. I was not scared of it at all. Did not give me nightmares. Neither did Jason. None of them. I saw through it. It was like, to me, it was a play the whole time,
Right.
where like other kids had to worry
Wait, so
about
you
bad
mean
dreams.
An introduction to theater early made you have a conception of a story during a movie?
Maybe.
So you're
Maybe.
saying maybe
Hmm.
introducing kids to plays before movies might give them some insight on that it's a fucking story?
Maybe because like also at the same time, like we didn't do cartoons in my sorry, my mom didn't like cartoons, but she let me watch horror movies. I don't know.
Better
So maybe. But anyways, I watched Harry and the Hendersons religiously all the time. So, you know,
You seen Harry and the Hendersons?
it
No.
made me love like I knew Harry. I knew the character
Sorry.
wasn't real, but I loved him. I loved his makeup. I loved
Right.
everything that made him
Right.
what he was. Where like the Jim Henson characters, they were believable, but they were definitely imaginary. Where like Rick Baker's stuff, whether it was Harry or whether it was the stuff that he did with Star Wars or whether it was the stuff that he did in the different horror films, like it was still makeup, but it was the makeup that kind of made me believe that it was possible to believe it.
Well-
Like I felt like I didn't fall for it, but I loved it at
What
the
I
same
liked
time.
about the early movie was the cinematic presentation of that. So like early Star Wars and shit, it was the thought of somebody made that model, somebody took the time to paint that and fly it on some fucking wires with some dude holding a screen behind it. Like that's what made it cool.
Mhm. All those tricks that had to be done by hand and then it had to be captured through photography. We didn't have computers to go in and just
Right.
like edit this out and Photoshop that out and superimpose this in. Those were all real hand built models.
That's kind of why movies to me lost the lackluster of watching them, because it's all computer done, it's all flawless, it's all seamless. It took the theater aspect of it out.
It can be beautiful, but there's just something about that, the early process where it was still by hand and you could see, like, even when you saw the flaws in it, it was still the most amazing thing
Right.
you'd ever seen.
Well, it was the same with cartoons, and I really like early animation because of, oh my god, look at that scenery somebody fucking painted. Like
Mhm.
watch Bambi, like those are paintings.
Bambi's a beautiful one.
Like watch Snow White, watch Cinderella, watch all the early Disney, and you're like, Jesus fuck, Land Before Time. Like these are
Mhm.
all
Oh, Land Before
landscape
Time.
masterpieces.
Land Before Time over the past like 5 or 6 years.
I watched it with my kid, but you know how that goes.
So first of all, Land Before Time, you got to know, like
I fly.
that movie is just filled with beautiful bio make-believe fantasy scenery. Like you'll see, like for instance, where Petrie crashes through the ground and he's looking up at the sky. He's in this like underground bio cave with tree roots and like this whole underrealm and then this beautiful sky above it. Like that's not bio. I don't know what is.
Yep, concur.
Do you remember We're Back?
No.
It's like another dinosaur movie.
No, no,
Because
no, no.
the scientist gives them brain grain and it makes them super smart.
No,
He
but I'm gonna
he
watch
time
it.
travels them and makes them super smart.
Can we watch it?
We're gonna have to find it. Kyle, is We're Back available on any streaming networks?
Come on, Cal. Like Fern Gully.
That's another beautiful one.
So like
On
and-
Apple TV and Google Play movies.
when the process of recording the voice and matching up the animation, somebody drawing the character to speak like the person in like that, to me,
Getting the nuances.
my mind.
It's one thing to do it with a computer because now we've got cameras that'll scan and like have,
follow their face,
Yeah.
and it looks just like the expression the person's making.
but to actually thoughtfully try to capture that person's likeness and the expression
Je ne sais quoi.
appropriate. Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole movie's available for free on YouTube. There you go.
Oh, thanks, buddy. But yeah, but that's what made that shit cool to me was the thought process of somebody took the time to draw that thing 1,000 times, and the craftsmanship behind it. And when you take that out, it not even out because the person running the computer is still crafting that image. They're still pleasing it. I don't want to downplay it, but it to me, taking the hand done nature out of it kind of killed some of the art in my mind. Not that digital art isn't art in any way, shape, or form, but
Do you remember this?
Brian,
No, you don't remember?
well, you got to remember too, like
We're the same age, Ben.
I know, but like I was filtered a little different.
Yeah, you couldn't watch dinosaurs because they
Dinosaurs
didn't
didn't
exist.
So you know what's funny is if you go to the Creation Museum in Kentucky, it's a thing. Is it in Kentucky? Anyway,
I don't know.
it's one of those places.
I think it's Kentucky. I know. What you're
I
talking about.
think it fairly is. I really think it is. You walk in the front door, and one of the first things you see is a saddle on a dinosaur.
See, feeding them the brain grain.
Like time's not a real thing.
Also confirmed Kentucky.
Oh,
What a personality. Thank goodness for Growmonger. It's taken 280 portions of
John
brain
Goodman's the
grain
voice,
to
I
jumpstart
believe.
that skull of
I
yours,
love John
pal.
Goodman.
they become smart and nice. There's this little boy named, I think his name is Max. He wants to run away and join the circus.
Bro, can we bring back like the real circus? Cause like, I want to do that. Can we just do that?
Well, so
Can we just be the circus?
have you seen Water for Elephants?
Yes.
Kind of ruined the circus for me.
I mean, like, I get it, but we can do it nice. You know what I mean? Like, we know better. We have more technology. We can do it. We can do it different.
How are we going to take care of these animals? What train are we going to keep them on? Where are we going to get this tent? I can't put a tent up that big. It's hard to get people that want to work and honest people. You're going to be nice to our animals. Then who are we going to have perform?
You
Then who
don't
are the
have to have
musicians
a
gonna be?
menagerie.
Who's gonna be in charge.
You don't have to have the menagerie, Fox. You don't have to do it. You just don't have to. It
We just want to have the sideshow and that's it.
wasn't just a sideshow. There was more to a circus than the menagerie.
Freak
was
show.
popcorn.
The
sideshow.
menagerie was like the sideshow to the circus.
You just want to have the acrobats, don't you?
I love the acrobats.
You want to ride the loop de loop,
and then
get
the
in the
tightropers.
metal ball with a little tiny dirt bike.
Yes. Trapeze.
Get in a tiny metal ball with a dirt bike with you.
I could see you both doing that.
Trapeze. I want to do clowns. I fucking love clowns, man. Like you could
How
do
many clowns?
at least 17.
One car.
There
full.
has to be a brigade.
Perfect.
One car full. Perfection. There has
Are
to be a
they're gonna
brigade.
be our bands
You
then
can't
as
have
well,
a
right? They're
single
gonna it's
clown.
gonna be a clown band,
Oh
right?
my motherfucking god, yes.
What kind of music are they gonna play?
Circus music, dummy. Jeez.
All right, okay, sorry.
The fuck do you think they're gonna play? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you a dummy. You know I love you.
I don't know. Maybe they're a Slipknot cover
You're
band
very, very highly intelligent.
They
Please don't
could
do
be.
that.
It could be a
Do you know-
Slipknot cover band.
with just double the members.
Which is tough. Yeah. Fair. Oh, was that like a Paul Gray joke?
No, not necessarily.
Get it? Because he's dead. Yeah. So like I had the honor and privilege of taking LB on a carousel ride and showing her like the carousel like plays its own music, and like there used to be wagons on circuit. Do you know how stuff carousels music like came from? Because there used to be like band wagons that they would pull and for the circus that played all the music for them.
Huh.
Like on I don't remember how it worked, but like the wagon itself played the drums and the instrument just like a carousel does, and that's how that became like a thing. And now I want one,
You want one?
not want, but like so like the little center of a carousel like plays the drum and blows the organ and does all the things, and that all started from like train cars for the circus that got pulled in the parades.
I'm trying to find the carousel project that I helped with. It'll be cool if I can find some pictures of it. Here it is.
Oh. You worked on a carousel?
Yeah.
That's super cute. All the ones at the Columbus Zoo are hand carved. And like, I thought that was super cool. I didn't realize it was like an ancient as fuck carousel. That made me smile.
This one is not ancient, obviously. I helped on it, but it was built in all of the like traditional ways. I'm gonna get this squared up and then I'll queue up a few more pictures to look at. Yeah, so this one's endangered animal themed. I worked on like all of these floral pieces around here. One of the challenges is taking something that's already 3-dimensional and making it look more bright and 3-dimensional.
Mhm.
And these are all like super exotic. I did all of these corner pieces.
Super cool.
Most of the animals were already painted when I joined on the project. So a lot of the accent work and stuff is what I helped with. There's these pieces in here that are all hand painted as well. So this whole thing is literally painted by artists with oil paint and brushes.
Love it.
Everything's done the professional way. They're all wood carved. It's pretty crazy. See you, Jordan.
Bye, Jordan. Love you, buddy.
It's pretty crazy to see what really goes into something like this.
Growing up, my mother had a thing for carousels, and we would travel to go see them. And we went to a double-decker one in New York that was like in glass and super old, and I don't remember where it was, but it was really cool. But same kind of sitch. You don't realize that all that stuff's hand painted and hand carved, and like somebody made that lion. It's nuts.
Look at this.
Craftsmanship is gone.
Look at it.
Oh, I dropped the. I didn't mean
This one was actually really fun to be a part of because it was so not traditional. It was made in all the traditional methods, but all the animals were so brightly colored and obviously not horses. So that makes it kind
Right.
of rare and special. Let's see if I can find a few more pictures of it.
super cool.
Yeah, look at these things. Crazy. One of them I think was a seahorse. I don't know if I'll be able
Nice.
to find that one. There's a lot of it was cool to see these all come together. I feel like I helped on only a little piece of it, but it was cool to be a part of it. If I had a little bit more time and still lived close enough, I would love to play around on some of these projects again. I lost the cursor.
How nice to even be invited to do stuff like that. Like that's pretty rad.
Yeah. Todd Goings is the name of the guy that invited me on that project. He's like the master carver. And he has like he actually like bends all the poles, and he has like designed all the rigs to do all of
Huh.
like all of the, like it's all super duper traditional. There are very few wooden carved carousels still being produced, they're
Right.
hundreds of thousands into the millions of dollars, and it might take 18 months to several years to complete one. So
That's
you've got a
insane.
whole team of artists that are paid pretty well, and like it's a very limited small craft, but everything's done so like painstakingly and lovingly that these things are designed to last. Like they are intended to be functional art.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
The amount of layers of shellac on the ones at the zoo was like
These ones, one of the only modern things that they've done is they're using automotive clear on 'em
Nice.
because it doesn't yellow the way that polyurethane does, and it's a lot harder. The technology and the modern the modern clears have just gotten better, a stronger crystalline structure, so they don't scratch as easy. You're gonna wear more slowly, and it's gonna be one of those things where if you prepare it properly, you can add another coat and it won't like beat up and yellow and turn like honey colored over time. So
Right.
so that's a cool modern thing, but other than that, they're all like hand carved and awesome. Carousels and Carvings is the name of the business. You can check them out.
Right.
Check them out.
I've always liked the people that do the chainsaw carvings. Cause like, who got drunk and decided that's what we're doing? Yo, I bet you I can make you a cow out of that log.
And then watch them like sharpen a spoon on a rock and start just
Right?
gouging out and smoothing things out. It'd be pretty crazy.
You want to see me make an eagle? Watch this.
I'll show you.
I'll show you.
Sure
I
will.
can make a bear with 13 cuts. Don't believe me? Watch.
13 cuts,
Thir-
a whole bear.
13 cuts.
Now, are we talking like a grizzly bear or like a gummy bear?
I think either.
All
I
right.
think they require the same amount of detail and often end up looking about the same.
Oh man.
I was vacationing in Pigeon Forge one time, and I was like, it's almost like you have to buy a bear while you're here. Like every single thing
You could get a bear or you could get an eagle.
was a bear,
A bear or an eagle.
a bear, a bear, a bear, more bear stuff. Did you want a bear for your trip while you were here? How about a bear salt shaker, a bear hat, a bear napkin holder, bear slippers, a bear shirt,
So there's this
bear
one thing
nuts,
that I was gifted one
bear belt
time.
buckle.
One of my clients shows up to an appointment. He's like, hey, we got some stuff for you. And he had some cool stuff for me, but he has this random fiberglass bear
Oh,
and it's painted with sidewalk or not sidewalk chalkboard paint. So it's
okay.
black, like matte black, but chalkboard paint. And I was like, what's that all about? And he's like, well, I found it in such and such a like an old sporting goods store, and it was one of the displays. So I just took it home and painted it. And like ever since, my kids have just drawn on it with sidewalk chalk. So I just color this bear and then it rains and they do it again. Like his
Aw.
kids had kind of outgrown it. And I talk about my like nephew and nieces all the time. And he's like, I thought you could just take it home and they could. And wouldn't you know, that thing has been, it's been repainted a couple of times already, but like the
Aw.
girls are always coloring on it. Like it's always got writing on it. Sometimes it's colored in, sometimes it's got a face
So
on it.
cute.
Sometimes they'll like how you can make the sidewalk chalk into like a paste. Sometimes they'll be painting on it with that. And like, Poppy's little, so when she colors on it with crayons, it's no big deal.
Right.
It's crazy how like such a funny thing, like this crudely shaped fiberglass bear that's like knee high has turned into like the favorite pay thing.
That's
'Cause
pretty
it's
cool
like
though.
the adults will be sitting around outside talking or whatever.
Go
and
draw on the bear.
cooking because my family uses smokers and outdoor grills and stuff a lot, so there's just a lot of time spent outside, but that's the thing that like keeps the kids busy. And it's just this crude bear.
So what you're saying is, I need a bear.
So yeah, next time you go to Pigeon Forge, you might think about getting you a bear.
I need a scribble bear. If you will.
A scribble bear. Yeah,
A scribble bear.
everybody should have a scribble bear.
Hmm.
Do you remember like there was a toy called the Doodle Bear when we were
Yes.
kids?
Yes, I do.
But a scribble bear.
You washed it and it became white
A
again.
full-on outdoor scribble bear,
Hmm.
the size of a large dog.
No thanks. No thanks.
I bet like sitting it somewhat visible from the road probably makes people slow down a little bit. Just that like
And that
silhouette.
is the exact opposite of what it is.
You want people to come whizzing past when your kid's outside playing?
No. I don't want them to come by at all.
You don't want them to be scared off by what could be a giant dog. You're like,
That
nah.
works like
You're like
the
a
first
decoy's
time.
not gonna work.
That works like the first time, But then they get used to seeing it, so they don't pay attention to
But it's
anything.
fiberglass. It's light. The kids move it around.
That's funny. That is funny. No thanks.
It's gotten me a couple of times and I know it's there. Yep.
Get on me, I get.
Well, I feel like we've been down this rabbit hole for a while. Feel like
Yeah,
we should wrap up. It's almost 9.
I ain't mad at it.
We've talked and talked today.
We have
We had chocolate covered fruit.
coffee.
We had Jim Kane join us.
Sweet,
We
sweet
got
Jim
to
Kane.
see Derb working on Mamie, a little bit of Derb chit chat in the beginning. Kyle has been on the ball the whole time.
Kinda. In the most Kyle way ever.
Do you want to touch on the changes we're making
I don't
too?
want to touch on it.
Oh,
Since they're already
since we're
already
doing the
live.
things.
You're
about
not
the
making any
celebration, we
changes.
have-
Changes are currently live.
Yeah, the change already happened, Ben.
No, don't.
So we are streaming out to
Tattoo
reinventing-
collecting 101.
Yep, the reinventing the tattoo platform like we always do, but we also streamed out to Tattoo Collecting 101 YouTube channel.
Mhm.
And then what we're going to do is replace this video in the very near future on the reinventing platform with a little bit more of a condensed, more educational version, and then we'll keep our long entertainment.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, our shenanigans on the Tattoo Collecting 101 channel. So
Gotcha.
if you prefer the long format with the shenanigans, you'll have a place to find it. If you want the shorter condensed version where we are a little bit more on topic and it's a little bit more edited, we'll have that version available too.
So
So-
sauce and extra sauce version.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's all good, but like
Yeah,
extra sauce, you know.
right.
Who doesn't love the extra sauce?
Yeah, it's like
right?
one's gonna be like experiencing the show live and the other one's gonna be like the main points that we really want to drive home and make sure people hear.
Home drivers.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I can live with that.
You didn't have to do anything different at all.
I do all the things differently, Fawn.
You didn't even
My
know what's
life is
happening.
dramatically affected.
It happened. It was like a
I felt it.
It was
I
like
just didn't know what it
15-second
was.
conversation before we went live, and Kyle did it and was on it, and he's also been working with the cameras the whole episode. When I was recording earlier, I was real thoughtful with what I was capturing so that it would be like one thing that flowed right into the next, so we didn't
So-
have to like pre-edit or post-edit or anything. We just
Everybody
run it.
out there in listener land, send an email to Reinventing Tattoo and thank Kyle for being amazing.
Yeah, you could email
Thanks.
us. That'd be kind of weird,
Nope,
but
I
That'd be
wanted
weird,
that.
yeah.
there is an email. It is what is it? Tattoo Collecting 101@gmail.com.
See? That's easy.
Or
I mean, like, I guess you guys like
Said-
Instagram them or whatever you crazy kids do nowadays.
yeah, I think
I
that-
didn't say send them a letter. You're
I think-
welcome.
I think
I
the
only
gram-
accept pigeon.
Pigeon gram.
It's like, oh, carrier pigeon only. please."
Yes.
Um,
Not
But
to be
yeah.
stuck over.
if you ever have any input, any suggestions, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, that's always the
Hit
thing.
us
I guess we don't throw that
up.
out there enough, but if you would like to be a guest, if you'd like to share your experiences, we'd love to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get as many points of view as possible and, you know, let everybody know we're kind of, there's like this huge tribe of people that, you know, once you start becoming tattooed, you realize you're a member of that tribe, whether, you know, that's what you were looking for or not.
And that's what we got to talk about earlier in the episode. Pulling up on a random homie, not even knowing he was a homie, recognized tattoos and was like, that's a derb tattoo. And he was like, let's smoke this joint. And I was like, bro, we just became best friends. Help me unload this kitchen. It's not what divides us, but what brings us together.
Speaking
Sir,
of,
we're about to sign off. Would you like to join us? We'll see if we can talk him into.
Saying goodbye.
You want to help us wrap up? We're wrapping up right now. We
He said, nope.
no.
We
He
we
ain't
introed
gonna
with you.
Talk about you.
He
We
ain't doing
introed with you. We're literally signing off
We're
right
just
now.
saying bye. Yep, we're saying goodnight.
Everybody, Dirk Morrison. We've been talking about him all night.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
It's still on.
Yeah, we're just
I've been up
wrapping
there
up.
tattooing for a while. You guys are,
We've shamelessly plugged
That's
True
what- that's
Tattoo
so good.
Supply about
That's so good.
700 times.
yeah. You guys had Jim Kane on tonight, I saw.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
Ben and Jim, as it turns out, we're already acquainted as
We've
well.
known each other a long time. Yeah.
I got stuck in Jim's driveway and I wouldn't even finish that story. My truck actually broke one of the branches on his tree. I had to deliver a bunch of furniture to him.
Oh, I
Ended
remember
up
that.
in his
I remember
yard,
hearing
like,
about
with a
that. Yeah.
chainsaw and shit. Yeah, it was a good night. Craziest night of all times.
I'm sure you guys got to hear some stories about him getting tattooed and his collection.
Yep,
all
we
that.
talked about some of the competitions, Easy Rider
Yeah.
stuff.
He used to clean house.
We talked about Philly a little bit.
Yep.
Getting ready for Philly.
Yeah.
Next week.
Next weekend. Yeah, it's like holidays get slow for everybody, you know, with
Mhm.
tattooing and shops. So it's nice, like after the first of the year, to get back doing like shows again and convention schedules kicking in. We got a lot of them coming up too. so
Yeah, I think we've got like one a month lined up for the
Mhm.
next few months,
Yeah.
at least.
all the way to Hell City.
Yep.
Can't wait.
Yep, we were just talking about what a rad team we have too and how easy it is to travel. Me, you, Jess, Brian, how easy it is to
Yeah.
travel together
Yeah.
and
And
like-
we have such a big team that it's like what's going to be going on with Detroit and Cleveland.
Mhm.
Like we have such a big team that some can go here, some can go there. So it's pretty awesome.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're conquering, but
Life.
Yeah.
yeah,
Conquering
that's
life.
it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Winning.
So here he is, Mr. Jim Kane. So the funny part about Jim that everybody probably saw is like Jim has a suit and a tie on most of the day. He's a big business guy. And he's like one of the first like real like corporate, like big baller dudes, you know, that you would never expect would have tattoos.
Like
you
super
know,
covered.
yeah, like super covered. Like Jim's pretty damn covered, you know, and just a hell of a nice dude. So to meet somebody like we all know, you get those friendships from tattooing. I've known
Mhm.
Jim since he started getting tattooed by me, and he's just been a good buddy ever since.
I damaged his property without even realizing it, and he just laughed and busted out a chainsaw and was like, "All right, let's
Yeah.
get this taken care of.
Exactly.
It's just a tree."
Yeah. Well, those are the type of people that you're like, all right, this motherfucker's cool.
We became best friends.
You know?
since
Yeah. Hell yeah.
All
So
right.
now I'm tattooing his wife.
Yep.
So she's gonna catch up with him soon, though.
then.
He's gotta get back on his collection.
Challenge
Yeah.
accepted.
Right.
Well, we'll be coming back next week
Next
from
week.
Philly or en route to Philly, or we need to work those
Yeah. How you guys
details
want
out.
to do this?
I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Definitely live. Well,
Oh, yeah.
we'll be connecting live. We were just saying what we're doing from now on, like tonight's the first night, we're beaming out to both our YouTube channel, the Tattoo Collecting 101 channel, and the Reinventing the Tattoo channel. And then we're going to re-upload an edited version of this to Reinventing. So we'll have
Dope.
a condensed, more educational version, and then we'll also have our long format shenanigans version.
Extra sauce.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so whichever way you prefer to hear it,
Uncensored, unedited.
Yeah.
Raw.
whichever way you prefer to hear it, we'll be able to have both. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
Ben's fighting it.
Like,
I rolled the
show up
flow.
and smile. That's all I ever do.
Well, we'll
Good
catch
show.
everybody next week.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in.
Hasta luego.
Osteoporosis.
Avoided that.
Cool.
Oh.